Chapter 431. Hello. I'm Yang Ming. I'm in Xiangshan Park. What should I do next? Yang Ming stood at the main entrance of Xiangshan Park and dialed the phone number of the kidnapper. Today was January 3rd, especially in winter, so there weren't many people in the park. It was deserted. Oh, you're here? Well, you go in from the main entrance of the park now and then follow my instructions. The person on the other side of the phone said. I'm leaving. Yang Ming frowned. According to the instructions on the phone, he entered the park and walked along the main road. And then, do you see a towering tree in front of you? The biggest ancient tree. The person on the other side of the phone asked. I see it. Yang Ming answered and began to search the surrounding scene with his special ability. Listening to the tone of the person on the phone, is it possible that he is monitoring me nearby? Yang Ming walked to the big tree and looked around secretly. Unfortunately, he didn't find anything unusual within a few hundred meters. Except for the park management office, there was an old man who was watching the Beijing opera while drinking a little wine. There was no one else. I'm in front of the big tree, Yang Ming said. He had to give up the search. He didn't know where these people were observing him. Oh, you're here? The other side said, you go behind the big tree. There's a tree hole. Do you see it? Tree hole? Yang Ming was stunned. Is your headquarters set up in the tree hole? Why does it look like a spy organization? You even set up a stronghold in the tree hole? Isn't this too evil? Just as Yang Ming was thinking about it, there was a voice on the other side of the phone that made people dumbfounded. Do you see the tree hole? Reach in, there's a brick. Under the brick there is a black plastic bag. Take it out. There is what you need to do next. What? Yang Ming was stunned. He made such a big circle just to get a black plastic bag? Well, you first do what is written on the note inside. The other side finished and hung up the phone. Yang Ming cursed the other party's mother and then opened the black plastic bag. How could he read the words on it in the dark? Was this kidnapper's IQ 0? At this moment there were no street lights in the park. It was pitch black. However, thanks to Yang Ming's extraordinary eyesight, he could see things in the dark, so he read the contents of the note smoothly. However, Yang Ming was still afraid that someone would secretly monitor him. So he pretended to take out his phone and shone it on the note, as if he was reading the content of the note. However, reality proved that his actions were unnecessary. Because Li Mingri and Wang Long simply didn't appear in Fragrant Hill Park. What the fuck are you doing? Why is it so troublesome? Wang Long scolded his subordinate. What are you doing? President Wang, don't be angry. Haven't you seen those foreign blockbusters about kidnapping? The subordinate said, you see in those blockbusters. Don't the kidnappers always mess with the people who deliver the ransom? But I don't think there is any difference between you telling him directly and letting him follow the instructions on the note. Li Mingri rolled his eyes. This is a big difference. This shows that we are professionals, so he won't look down on us. Said the subordinate. And that's right. Makes sense. Wang Long nodded after listening. But Yang Ming didn't think so. What professional kidnapper? It's obviously an amateur, and he deliberately wants to pretend to be professional. This was Yang Ming's current thought. The professional kidnappers on TV who instructed the people who delivered the ransom to walk around had a purpose. They weren't walking around randomly. They were all thinking of ways to minimize the risk. However, now the kidnapper instructed Yang Ming to do something without the slightest purpose. Yang Ming didn't see the difference between him going to Fragrant Hill Park to get a piece of paper and the other party directly telling him the contents of the note. Moreover, the things on the note were even more inexplicable. It actually said that from here walk 10 meters in the direction of the park gate, then walk 10 meters to the right, then walk 20 meters to the left, then walk 10 meters to the left and then walk 30 meters to the left. Yang Ming wasn't a fool. There was no problem with his logical thinking. The route written on the note was obviously back to the original position at the end. What kind of messy instructions are these? Yang Ming continued to look at the instructions on the note. After doing all this, call me. Yang Ming didn't walk. He called the kidnapper directly. Hello, what should I do next? Did you follow the instructions on the note? Asked the other party. Yang Ming snorted faintly. Then you found out that you were fooled. You went back to the original position, right? The other party seemed to be very happy and laughed. Yang Ming scolded stupid bird in his heart. However, he didn't say anything on the surface. Now this also indirectly proved that the kidnapper wasn't nearby. They couldn't see what Yang Ming was doing now. Yang Ming's casual lie was tested. Are you done laughing? Then what do you want to do? Yang Ming coldly interrupted the other party and asked. Why? Are you angry because you were fooled? The other party asked with a smile. If you have something to say it quickly. Yang Ming pretended to be angry and said. It's really refreshing. Okay, now you come out of Xiangshan Park, then take a taxi to Hongyun Car Repair Factory. The underling said. I know. Yang Ming said faintly. Hongyun Car Repair Factory? Yang Ming's mouth sneered. Others didn't know what was going on with Hongyun Car Repair Factory, but how could Yang Ming not know? Hongyun Car Repair Factory was the property of Sun Jie's company. Could Sun Jie order people to kidnap Yang Li? Yang Ming didn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. Yang Ming once went to Sun Jie's company and saw the operation report of Hongyun Car Repair Factory, so he remembered it very clearly. There wouldn't be a mistake. Now the other party asked him to go to Hongyun Car Repair Factory. It was obvious that they were continuing to make fun of him. Therefore Yang Ming simply didn't leave. He found a bench in Xiangshan Park and sat down. He smoked a cigarette. Then it was about time, so he called the kidnapper. Hello, I'm Yang Ming. I'm near Hongyun Car Repair Factory. What should I do now? Anyway, he knew that the other party couldn't be monitoring him, so Yang Ming boasted shamelessly. Oh, you're here? So fast. The other party was a little surprised. Do you think there will be a traffic jam at night? Where are you? Hurry up and show yourself. Don't waste time. You should be able to see me. There is no one else around me. Yang Ming fooled them. I'm sorry. Hongyun Car Repair Factory is thousands of miles away from me. It's fine. I just want to see your sincerity. The other party continued to laugh. It seems that you are quite obedient. Well, now you take a taxi to the outskirts of the city. There is a good luck bar near the sand field. I will wait for you there. Yang Ming heard the other party's tone and estimated that this was probably the real location, so he took a taxi and went straight to the good luck bar in the outskirts of the city. Little brother, why are you going to the good luck bar? The taxi driver was a little puzzled. Oh, a friend asked me to meet there. Yang Ming said casually. Meet? The taxi driver's face immediately showed a strange look. At the good luck bar? Yeah, what's wrong? Yang Ming saw the taxi driver's strange expression and was somewhat inexplicable. The good luck bar has been closed because of the murder case last year. It is currently closed. What are you going to do there? At this point, the taxi driver stepped on the brakes and stopped the car. He pointed to Yang Ming and said, Are you not a human? Damn. Yang Ming suddenly didn't know what to say. He was a little dumbfounded. I say, buddy, your imagination is too rich, right? It's just a friend who asked me to meet there. I didn't say I wanted to drink. Then why are you going to the bar? The driver was still a little worried. It's very simple. Isn't the bar closed? My friend wants to buy it, so he asked me to go and see. Yang Ming made up a story. Oh, so that's it. The driver shook his head. What are you going to do in the middle of the night? My friend is a woman. Yang Ming naturally couldn't tell him about the kidnapping, so he had to make up such a despicable reason with a perverted smile on his face. Oh, so that's the case. The driver suddenly understood and had an I know look. Chapter 432. Along the way, Yang Ming was uncomfortable because of the driver's strange eyes. It was as if he was going to do something bad. Do you have to look at me like that? Isn't it just a date with my girlfriend? During the festival, there were no cars on the road at night, especially in the direction of the suburbs, which was even more sparsely populated. Fortunately, the place where Yang Ming went wasn't a remote place, or else the taxi driver might not be able to pick him up. After paying the taxi fare, Yang Ming got off. The good luck bar was still relatively easy to find. It was on the side of the road, but after the murder case last year, it had become sparsely populated. The house where this bar was located had not been rented out. Whoever did business didn't want to be in a place where people had died. It was unlucky. Yang Ming looked up at the good luck bar not far away. There was indeed a faint light inside. It seemed that this was the right place. Yang Ming didn't want to continue to torment himself. Yang Ming didn't go directly, but began to observe the movement in the bar. Seeing that the people in the room were sitting and chatting, and no one was near the window to monitor the outside, Yang Ming couldn't help but sigh. Can't you be more professional as a kidnapper? There is no challenge at all. It was reasonable to say that the kidnapper with a slightly normal mind would not directly tell the other party the location of their nest. They could say a general location or a building near the Good Luck Bar. In this way, if the person who came was the police, they could also be prepared to quickly evacuate. I'll take a step back. Even if they told the real location when I came, the kidnapper should at least send someone to monitor the window, right? But unfortunately, these people seem to have pig brains. Yang Ming came, but they still didn't know and were chatting. Seeing the faces of the kidnappers, Yang Ming frowned. It's actually these guys. Li Mingri and a guy named Wang Long connected yesterday's incident. Yang Ming also roughly understood why these people kidnapped Yang Li and looked for him. They kidnapped Yang Li probably because Yang Li made them angry yesterday, and they asked him to come because he taught them a lesson yesterday. In that case, their purpose was obvious. They had sent him here to vent their anger for them. In the bar there were 3 people with Li Mingri. Yang Ming found them familiar, but he didn't know where he had seen them. It's probably Li Mingri's men who were with them yesterday. These 5 people, Yang Ming did not put them in his eyes. That Li Mingri and Wang Long are equivalent to waste. It's more than enough for me to fight 3 of them. Thinking of this, Yang Ming didn't pay much attention to these people, but began to search for Yang Li. However, unfortunately, Yang Ming searched the 2-story bar from top to bottom, but he didn't see Yang Li. Could it be that these people did not bring Yang Li along? Yang Ming was a little worried. He originally thought that the intelligence of these kidnappers was not high, but he did not expect that they would actually think of such a method to hide the hostage alone. However, since he was already here, he couldn't care so much. Yang Ming decided to deal with these 5 guys first. Under his own pressure point technique, Yang Ming didn't believe that these people could still hide any secrets. Glancing at the location of the 5 people, Yang Ming swaggered to the Good Luck Bar. He didn't go through the main door because the main door was locked and he didn't need to go through the door at all. He came to a window that was far away from the 5 people. Yang Ming took out something like a Swiss Army knife from his pocket. However, this wasn't a Swiss Army knife. This was a killer auxiliary weapon that Fong Tianchun handmade for Yang Ming. It was an artifact that combined the functions of a knife, a spike, a screwdriver, a lily key, a glass knife, and so on. Yang Ming easily cut open a glass window, and then carefully placed the glass under the window without making any sound. After Yang Ming jumped into the window, he first did a few stretching exercises back and forth so that his bones and joints were completely stretched. In this way there would be no sound of joints when he walked. After the preparation, Yang Ming walked silently to the room where the 5 people were. "Motherfucker, is this kid lost? Why hasn't he come yet?" Wang Long said. As the alcohol passed, Wang Long began to have some fear. Bao Sanli, who was behind Yang Dashan, wasn't a good person to provoke. If he retaliated in the future, how could he deal with it? Taking a step back, even if Bao Sanli didn't retaliate, what he did now was kidnapping. He had to go to jail. But since he had already come to this point, there was no way to retreat. He had to continue, but his mood was inevitably a little impatient. What's the hurry? Li Mingri's mentality was very good. Even if he is lost, he is the one who is anxious, not us. Do you need to call and urge him? Wang Long was very afraid of long delays. The sooner it was over, the better. Why don't you call and ask where he is, then scare him? Tell him that if he doesn't come, we will kill the hostages. Li Mingri thought about it and said, "Well, you go and call Yang Ming. You know what to say, right?" Wang Long instructed his men. "I know." The man nodded. As he was about to pick up the phone, he was interrupted by a voice. "Don't be so troublesome. If you have anything to say, just say it to me directly." Yang Ming pushed open the door and said coldly, "Who?" Li Mingri was shocked. When he turned his head, he saw Yang Ming standing at the door. He couldn't help but be shocked. "How did you come in?" "I came in the way I should." Yang Ming smiled. "Didn't you ask me to come in? Where is Yang Li?" "We will naturally deal with Yang Li, kid. It's time to settle the account with you." Li Mingri was also briefly shocked, then he returned to normal. "Yeah, it doesn't matter how he came in. Maybe there is a back door in this bar. Now the most important thing is to vent my anger first." Wang Long wasn't as fierce as Li Mingri. He was a careful person. When he saw Yang Ming coming, he calmed down. "Are you Yang Dashan's nephew?" "So what?" Yang Ming looked at Wang Long and said faintly. "Your relationship with him isn't good?" Wang Long probed. "What do you want to ask?" Yang Ming frowned. He wasn't a fool. From Wang Long's cautious words, he also understood something. What does your family do? Wang Long simply asked directly. You want to ask about my family's background, right? Yang Ming said sarcastically. Why? Are you scared? You can do something like kidnapping. Why are you still so cautious? Yang Ming's words made Wang Long's face turn red. Li Mingri was a little impatient. Why do you ask him so much? Beat him up first. Hee, if I don't tell him, how can he feel at ease? Yang Ming said with a smile. I might as well tell you. My father is an ordinary worker and my mother is laid off, but I can still beat you up until your teeth fall out. Then try it. Li Mingri snorted and then directly told the two people not far away. You two, it's time for you to perform. Yang Ming turned his head and looked. These two people are the thugs they brought. No wonder they are fearless. Do they think that they can teach me a lesson by bringing people? What a joke. Yang Ming was ready to beat up the two thugs, but he found that the two thugs were hesitant and unwilling to come over. They even kept retreating. The behavior of the two people couldn't help but make Yang Ming stunned. No way, right? Is this okay? I haven't started yet and these two people are scared by my momentum? Could this be the legendary aura of a bastard? What are you two dawdling for? Hurry up and beat him up. Li Mingri saw that the two people didn't make a move and he was a little anxious. What are you doing? Hurry up. Both Yu Wu and Chen Lu were trainers in the fitness center, but the income of the fitness center wasn't enough to support the two people, so they also took some private jobs outside, such as acting as thugs. Tonight, through the introduction of a friend, the two of them met Li Mingri. They agreed to help Li Mingri teach a personal lesson and they would get 3,000 yuan. This business was simply a pie falling from the sky. 2 against 1, was there any reason not to win? However, when the two people saw Yang Ming, they were a little dumbfounded. Oh my god, why is it him? The reason why Yu Wu and Chen Lu had such feelings was that they had already suffered a loss from Yang Ming once, and they also received Jin Gang's advice not to provoke Yang Ming again. That guy was really a ruthless person and they couldn't afford to provoke him. So when Yu Wu and Chen Lu saw Yang Ming, they unconsciously stepped back. Why are we so unlucky to accept this business? Speaking of this, the identity of Yu Wu and Chen Lu was obvious. Yes, they were the minor actor number 1 and minor actor number 2 who were hired to rob Yang Ming and Zhao Ying. Chapter 433. Yang Ming certainly didn't believe that he had the aura of a bastard. This wasn't a web novel. How could this happen? Therefore Yang Ming also paid special attention to it. It didn't matter if he paid attention to it. The more Yang Ming looked at these two people, the more familiar they were. You two? Yang Ming suddenly remembered something. He widened his eyes and asked, my bicycle, you two smashed it last time, right? Both of them were stunned. They didn't expect such a question to be asked in this situation. Li Mingri and Wang Long were even more puzzled. What are these two people doing? Not only are they not making a move, but they are also retreating? What bicycle? Don't worry about him. His brain is sick. Hurry up and beat him into a bicycle. Li Mingri instructed. Yu Wu and Chen Lu looked at each other. Last time, both of them suffered a loss under Yang Ming's hands. However, they had also experienced Yang Ming's skill. In fact, it wasn't particularly outstanding. However, Jin Gang's words were very evil, so the two of them dispelled the idea of revenge. At this time, when they heard Li Mingri urging them again, the two people's hearts were also somewhat active. After all, this was related to their future business. If they screwed up this time when it was publicized, they wouldn't expect anyone to hire them. What are you doing? Fight. What's wrong? Do you think the money is too little? I will give you another 2,000. Li Mingri saw that the two people didn't fight and he was a little anxious. Yu Wu and Chen Lu looked at each other and nodded secretly. From their eyes, it could be seen that the two people were ready to fight. Since they had decided, they didn't have so many scruples. Yu Wu said, Kid, I haven't settled the previous account with you. Well, this time let's settle it together. Then you admit that you smashed the bicycle? Asked Yang Ming. So what? Chen Lu said coldly. Since you admit it, when are you going to compensate me? Yang Ming asked indifferently. He didn't put these two people in his eyes. What compensation? Are you stupid? Yu Wu glared and threw a punch at Yang Ming. I'll smash you into a bicycle. Yang Ming frowned and deftly dodged Yu Wu's punch and asked, are you going to compensate or not? Compensate my ass. When Yu Wu saw that his punch had missed, he threw another punch. He was a heavyweight boxer. He firmly believed that he could definitely beat Yang Ming with one punch. Are you done yet? Yang Ming grabbed Yu Wu's fist. Are you playing a monkey? Motherfucker. Yu Wu tried to pull his fist back, but he didn't manage to pull it back. He held back his strength and started scolding people. You want me to let go? Yang Ming pretended to be surprised and looked at Yu Wu. Yu Wu's face suddenly turned red. He thought that Yang Ming was making fun of him. He couldn't help but increase the strength of his pull. He clenched his teeth and tried to break free. But he didn't expect that Yang Ming would suddenly let go. Clang! All of a sudden Yu Wu fell directly on his back. The back of his head fell heavily on the ground. The fall only made his blood surge. His eyes were full of stars. He groaned twice and fainted. Why are you doing this? I already let you go, but you still have so much strength? The recoil is so strong. Yang Ming sighed. Chen Lu saw that Yu Wu was killed so easily. It was a little unbelievable. However, his IQ wasn't high. When he saw that Yang Ming didn't have any real skills, he wasn't very afraid in his heart. He was just a little surprised, but this didn't affect his confidence in taking revenge on Yang Ming. Is it just SOSO? He only knows how to use some dirty tricks to deceive people. Chen Lu thought, I just have to be careful. You still want to do it? Yang Ming saw Chen Lu's eager look and said impatiently, don't you see? He is your role model. Yang Ming pointed at Yu Wu, who was on the ground. Bullshit, that's your trick. If you have the ability, let's have a real fight. Chen Lu said angrily. I don't have a real knife and I don't have a real gun. Do you? Yang Ming shook his head and asked. No. Chen Lu nodded subconsciously, but he soon realized that he was fooled. You are tricking me. No. Yang Ming spread his hands. There is no knife or gun. I don't need a knife or gun. I can take your life. As Chen Lu said this, he suddenly picked up a steel pipe from the side and smashed it at Yang Ming. This was originally a bar. There were still many ready-made steel pipes here. He didn't know if they were used to guard the place or for dancing. Do you think you are Sun Wukong with a Jingu Bang? Yang Ming looked at Chen Lu with some amusement. Hey, don't be cocky with me. I don't want to turn you into the person on the ground. Otherwise, I don't know who to ask for my bicycle. You go to hell. Chen Lu jumped up and hit Yang Ming in the head. It was just like the TV show where Sun Wukong fought the monster. Yang Ming shook his head. You're like a big toad. You still want to hit people? If he could be hit like this, Yang Ming would have wasted his time. Not to mention that Yang Ming's current skill was much better than before. Even in the past, it was impossible to be hit by such a stick. Yang Ming rushed forward dexterously and dodged Chen Lu's stick. He directly grabbed the steel pipe in Chen Lu's hand from behind and mocked. Okay, stop fooling around. With your ability, you are not as good as the one just now. Yang Ming's words made Chen Lu's face turn red. Yes, his skill was indeed not as good as Yu Wu, and his IQ was also worse than Yu Wu. When Yang Ming said this, he suddenly realized. It seemed that there was a gap in strength between him and Yang Ming. Last time, Yang Ming defeated him in one move. If Yu Wu still had the strength to compete with Yang Ming, then it was more or less possible. Now that Yu Wu had fallen, why should I continue to fight here? But if I give up now, will Yang Ming let me go? Chen Lu thought in fear. What did you say? Yang Ming was stunned, but he immediately realized that Chen Lu didn't speak at all. What's going on? It's happening again. This situation hasn't happened for a long time, and it happened again today. I saw Chen Lu's thoughts. Yang Ming didn't exactly grasp the specific use of this ability. He didn't know when it worked and when it didn't. It always appeared inexplicably and disappeared inexplicably. Thinking of this, Yang Ming also suspended his thoughts of beating Chen Lu. After all, studying the special ability was more refreshing than beating Chen Lu. However, Yang Ming had studied this ability more than once before, but there was no progress. He didn't even find the way. Yang Ming looked at Chen Lu, trying to grasp something. Why is he looking at me? Could it be that he wants to beat me? Chen Lu saw Yang Ming staring at him, and he thought with some fear in his heart. He heard it again. Yang Ming shook his head. What's going on? Why is this special ability always useful when I'm beating people up? Recalling the previous few experiences, most of the time, this special ability only works when I'm about to beat people up. Yang Ming continued to stare at him and studied his special ability with interest. Damn, could it be that he has some special hobby? Why is he looking at me like this? Chen Lu was a little more scared. I don't have any special hobby. You continue to think. Yang Ming replied. What does he mean by this? Is it yes or no? Could it be that he is lying to me? Qin-Lu opened his mouth wide in astonishment. Although Yang Ming seemed to be observing Qin-Lu casually, his vigilance in his heart had reached the highest level. He was afraid that Li Mingri would play some tricks behind his back and make a move against him. Therefore he was always concentrating and paying attention to the movements around him. Sure enough, Li Mingri did have this idea. He saw that Yang Ming and Qin-Lu were looking at each other strangely, so he secretly had the idea of a sneak attack. He took out a fruit knife from his pocket and stabbed at Yang Ming's butt. Li Mingri wasn't stupid. If he stabbed someone to death, he would be sentenced. The flesh on his butt was thick, so there was no danger to his life. However, his every move was already under Yang Ming's monitoring. When Yang Ming saw him coming over, he immediately kicked Li Mingri's face. Suddenly, a big footprint appeared on Li Mingri's face. This guy fell straight down. After killing Li Mingri, Yang Ming's heart also breathed a sigh of relief. He had long seen that this guy wasn't a good person. He was sinister. As for that Wang Long, it seemed that he was a coward. Do you want to try? Yang Ming looked at Wang Long and asked disdainfully. No need. Wang Long shook his head with a pale face. He had been afraid just now. Now his fear was even worse. After being yelled at by Yang Ming, he suddenly fell to the ground. He was so scared that he couldn't stand up. Chapter 434. When Qin-Lu and Wang Long saw how strong Yang Ming was, they were so scared that they hugged each other. Of course, Yang Ming didn't have any interest in beating up these two people. He was now concerned about his special ability. But he knew that he had to solve Yang Li's problem first. Yang Ming sighed. It was a great research opportunity, but it was wasted. Yang Ming was a bit unwilling. Yang Ming hesitated and decided to find out Yang Li's whereabouts first before making further plans. Where is Yang Li? Yang Ming asked Wang Long. I know. Don't step on me. Wang Long said quickly. She is in the basement downstairs. We didn't do anything to her. Really? Yang Ming lowered his head. Crossing the floor, Yang Ming found out that there was a basement in this bar. When he was observing from the outside, Yang Ming didn't think of this, so he didn't notice that there was a basement here. Looking at it now, he found that Yang Li was in a basement of the bar. She was staring in despair and looking around in horror. The corner of Yang Ming's mouth couldn't help but flash a smile. It was time to let Yang Li, this chick, learn a lesson. Since there was nothing wrong with her body, then she should stay in the basement for a while. After confirming that Yang Li was fine, Yang Ming began to study his special ability. Being able to see other people's thoughts, this is a super cool ability. If I can master it, then it will be very useful. Let's not talk about it, let's talk about picking up girls. If I can know the thoughts of a girl, then I don't have to spend so much effort to guess this and that. Secondly, if I negotiate with others when I do business in the future, I can easily know the bottom line of the other party's heart, and I can get the most favorable conditions for myself. Or when I gamble, I can see through other people's thoughts. This didn't seem to be important because X-ray vision could also be done. However, who would complain about having one more special ability? Taking advantage of the current opportunity, Yang Ming planned to experiment more with his superpower, and the best test subject was Qin-Lu in front of him. Because Yang Ming had just heard his thoughts. Do you want to die? Yang Ming crouched down and squinted at Qin-Lu. When Wang Long saw that Yang Ming didn't say anything to him, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that because he told the truth, Yang Ming wouldn't do anything to him anymore. He didn't know that the real reason was that he didn't have any research value to Yang Ming. I don't want to. Qin-Lu quickly shook his head. Nonsense, who would want to die for no reason? I'm still alive and well. I didn't fall out of love or lose my job. Why should I die? Oh, that's fine. Since you don't want to die, let's play a game. Yang Ming was very satisfied with Qin-Lu's behavior. The more afraid he was, the more cooperative he would be with his experiment. Why did he have to find Qin-Lu and not Wang Long? The reason was very simple. Yang Ming had tried to develop this ability before, but there was no result. Therefore, Yang Ming was guessing when he had nothing to do. Was this ability only effective on specific people? For example, just like what was written in science fiction, only people with weaker brainwaves could be seen by him? Or perhaps only people whose brainwaves were closer to his own could do it? These were just guesses, so Yang Ming had to experiment again. What game? Qin-Lu's body trembled. Could it be that we're playing some perverted game? If you want to give me something like a tiger stool and pepper spray, I might as well just die. In fact, it's very simple. You just have to think about something in your heart and then I guess what you are thinking about. Yang Ming said. Ah. Qin Lu was stunned. Is there any reward or punishment measures? He was most concerned about this. As long as he wasn't beaten up, he could play anything. Oh. Yang Ming shook his head. Relax. Don't be nervous. Now you can think about something. Just think about it. You can think about anything. Oh? Qin Lu nodded. Although he felt that Yang Ming's game was very weird, looking at Yang Ming's appearance, it didn't seem like he was going to beat him up, so he started to think about it. Anyway, Yang Ming didn't specify what he should think, so Qin Lu's current thoughts were in a mess. Yang Ming frowned. Obviously, he didn't see or hear anything. After a while, it was still the same. He couldn't help but say impatiently, "Did you think about it or not?" "I thought about it. I kept thinking about it. I thought about the women I went to the nightclub last night." Qin Lu nodded quickly. Fuck. Yang Ming cursed and kicked out. But this kick wasn't aimed at Qin Lu, but at Li Mingri, who was already on the ground. If this guy didn't stab himself with a knife and destroy the scene at that time, Yang Ming could further study his own superpower. Now it obviously has no effect. It seems that this ability isn't targeted at anyone, but it only appears at a specific time. It may also appear randomly. Therefore, Yang Ming suddenly became angry again and vented his anger on Li Mingri. Ayo. Li Mingri, who was originally unconscious, was kicked so hard by Yang Ming that he jumped up with a whoosh. He covered his butt and jumped around the room. "You kicked me to death, kicked me to death. Stop jumping around," Yang Ming said coldly. Originally his mood was good, but now it was terrible. Li Mingri was shocked by Yang Ming's voice and quickly stopped there. He didn't dare to scream anymore. "You carried out the kidnapping and kidnapped Yang Li. This matter is over," Yang Ming said faintly, "but other things aren't so easy to forget. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me?" "Compensate? Compensation?" Li Mingri was stunned. "Didn't you say to forget about it? Why is there still compensation?" He couldn't help but ask carefully, "What compensation?" "Compensate me for my mental trauma," Yang Ming said with conviction. "This is a big holiday. I was tossed to Xiangshan Park by you guys and I was fooled around the big tree. Then you asked me to go to the Hongyun repair factory. Do you think it's fun? Then you found two idiots to teach me a lesson. You even tried to stab me with a knife. What compensation are you talking about? Are you out of your mind?" Well then, how do you want to compensate?" Since the people he found were defeated by Yang Ming, Li Mingri had to admit defeat. "What are you doing? Give me your business card," Yang Ming asked. "A business card?" Li Mingri felt that Yang Ming really didn't play by the rules. He was talking about compensation. Why did he suddenly ask for a business card? However, although it was strange in his heart, Li Mingri didn't dare to show it on the surface. He had to obediently take out his business card and hand it over respectfully. Yang Ming took the business card and looked at it. It said, Mingri Car Repair Company. General Manager, Li Mingri. On the back, the business project was written. Specializing in Toyota, Camry, Corolla series, imported accessories. Yang Ming asked for the business card because he wanted to estimate Li Mingri's value. Otherwise, if he asked for an exorbitant price, Li Mingri didn't have so much money. Therefore, after looking at Li Mingri's business card, Yang Ming also knew a thing or two. Generally, in Songjiang, those who could afford car repair, especially those who repaired such high-end cars, were also worth tens of millions, so Yang Ming was also prepared to ask for a price. Your business card. Yang Ming kicked Wang Long and said, "Oh." Wang Long didn't dare to resist Yang Ming's words. He took out a business card from his pocket and handed it to Yang Ming. Yang Ming glanced at it. This guy was also involved in car repair, but his level was obviously worse than Li Mingri's. No wonder he wasn't as badass as Li Mingri. Wang Long's repair factory mainly repaired some cars like Jetta, and his value was estimated to be a few million. You compensate me 10 million. You compensate me 2 million. Yang Ming first glanced at Li Mingri, then looked at Wang Long and said faintly, "What?" Li Mingri was a little stunned. "What did you say? 10 million? Is there a mistake?" "Yes, 10 million. Yang Ming said very calmly. "Impossible, I don't have 10 million. You're kidding." Li Mingri suddenly said hysterically, "You can kill me." "Really?" Yang Ming frowned, Then he flicked the business card in his hand and said, specializing in Toyota, your value shouldn't be low, right? 10 million is just a small number. You won't be so distressed, right? No, I don't have it anyway. Li Mingri raised his neck and looked like a hero. Yang Ming looked at his appearance and couldn't help but be amused. You want money more than your life, right? Okay, then you can try. Chapter 435. Let's try it. At most you can kill me. Li Mingri was heroic and said loudly. And then you wait. I will settle this account with you slowly. But when you come to me again it won't be 10 million. Yang Ming said faintly. Humph. Li Mingri snorted. At most I will run away. What can you do to me? So he was like a dead pig that wasn't afraid of boiling water. What about you? Do you want to die or pay? Yang Ming asked Wang Long. I will pay, Wang Long said with a sad face. He wasn't as heroic as Li Mingri. Although 2 million wasn't a small amount, it was nothing compared to his life. I have a family. If I offend the god of plagues because of this, it will be troublesome. If the money is gone I can earn it again. If my life is gone then I have nothing. What's more, what I did just now was kidnapping. If Yang Ming called the police, then I have to go to prison for a few years. It's better to give him money. 2 million is considered as a private fee. After figuring this out, Wang Long was also happy. I promise that I will transfer the money tomorrow morning. And not bad. You have a future. Yang Ming nodded and said to Wang Long, well, you can have nothing to worry about in the future. I won't find trouble with you again. Thank you, thank you. Wang Long nodded quickly. Get out, you get out too. Yang Ming kicked Li Mingri. Remember what I said. You wait. Yang Ming pointed to Chen Lu who was about to escape and said, we haven't settled our account yet. Brother, didn't we just play the game? Why are we still settling accounts? Chen Lu said with a bitter face. Stop talking nonsense. Yang Ming glared at Chen Lu. The account just now is that you want to beat me up today. The previous account hasn't been settled yet. Then, how do you want to settle it? Chen Lu couldn't help it. He knew that his strength wasn't as strong as Yang Ming, so he could only be slaughtered. Give me your business card, Yang Ming said. Business card. Okay, business card. Chen Lu quickly took out his business card from his pocket and handed it over. Brother, look. I'm just a trainer in the fitness center. I don't have that much money. Chen Lu was afraid that Yang Ming would demand an exorbitant price and ask him for millions or even tens of millions. That would be the end of him. I'm not going to ask you for money, Yang Ming said coldly. You're a coach in a fitness center. Can you afford a bicycle? Yes, that's possible. Chen Lu quickly said. Buy me a bicycle and bring it to me tomorrow. It's fine if you don't buy it, but you'll have to bear the consequences. Yang Ming pointed to the business card in his hand and said, this is the address of the fitness center where you work, right? I'll look for you. Buy, definitely buy. I'll buy it tomorrow. Chen Lu felt that a bicycle was nothing compared to a few million. However, Chen Lu thought about it and quickly asked, brother, where should I send him? How can I find you? This is a problem. How about this, do you know the Songjiang bus factory? Asked Yang Ming. I know. If I don't know I can ask around. Chen Lu nodded and said. That's fine. Call me when you get there tomorrow. Yang Ming said, my cell phone number is 159XXXX0809. No problem. I'll remember it. What time should I look for you tomorrow? Chen Lu asked politely. At night. I may not be free during the day, said Yang Ming. Okay, then at night. Chen Lu immediately agreed. Okay, you can go too. Take the one on the ground with you. Yang Ming waved his hand and instructed. Then I'm leaving. Brother, I'll call you tomorrow. Chen Lu left with relief. Today's business is really a big loss. Li Mingri can't even protect himself. It seems that he won't pay. However, on the bright side, I only lost a bicycle. Li Mingri and Wang Long's losses are huge. Yang Ming found the entrance to the basement and slowly walked over. Anyway, Yang Li was locked inside, so Yang Ming wasn't in a hurry. When he came to the door of the basement, Yang Ming stopped and looked inside with his special ability. He saw Yang Li sitting on a broken chair looking in the direction of the door. He didn't know what she was thinking. Yang Ming decided to tease her. He shook the door in front of her, making a clang sound. Who is it? Let me out. Yang Li was shocked. She looked in the direction of the door and shouted, Open the door, who is it? While shouting, Yongli got up and ran in the direction of the door, slapping the door panel with her hand. Yang Ming was a little amused. Yongli also had times when she was afraid. However, he deliberately didn't make a sound and stood silently. Yongli slapped for a while and shouted for a while. When she saw that no one answered, she slumped to the ground weakly. She wanted to cry but had no tears. Yongli. Yang Ming waited for Yongli to be quiet before he shouted softly. Who is it? Yongli jumped up from the ground, held her breath and listened carefully. Yang Ming? Is that you? It's me, big sister. Are you inside? Yang Ming asked, pretending not to know. I'm here, Yang Ming, I'm inside. Come and save me. Yongli shouted for help. Big sister, don't be afraid. I'm here. Yang Ming said righteously, I'll find a way to open the door. Right, Yang Ming, where are the bad guys? You call the police first. Don't let them find out. Yongli wasn't stupid. She was afraid that Li Mingri and the others would hear her and Yang Ming's noise here. You mean Li Mingri and Wang Long? They were beaten away by me. Yang Ming said indifferently, don't worry. You stay away. I'll see if I can kick this door open. Beaten away? Yongli was stunned, but she remembered that Yang Ming was a gangster, and he showed his prowess that day, so she didn't doubt it. She quickly said, okay, I'll get out of the way. You can kick it. The broken door in front of him could only trap a weak girl like Yongli. For Yang Ming it was nothing at all. Not to mention Yang Ming, even an adult man with a little bit of strength could break this door plank. Yang Ming didn't use much strength at all. He kicked the door directly and it flew up. It fell to the ground with a bang and became torn apart. Yongli was very excited. She screamed and rushed to Yang Ming's body. I was scared to death. I'm finally saved. Yang Ming shook his head with a bitter smile. You caused the trouble, but you let me wipe it. Wipe that? Although they were relatives, it was still embarrassing for Yang Ming to say the word but. Yongli bit her lip and bowed her head. Yang Ming also knew that it was impossible for this proud sister to say a few words of gratitude. He had now completed the task given to him by his uncle, so he took out his mobile phone and called his uncle. Uncle, I'm Yang Ming. Sister has been rescued. You can drive to the Good Luck Bar in the suburbs to pick us up. Yang Ming said. What? You rescued your sister? That's great. Are you hurt? Yang Dashan asked hurriedly. No. Whether Yang Dashan was sincere or perfunctory, his tone now made Yang Ming feel very comfortable. After all, he was concerned about his own safety first. It's good. Then I will go now. You are at the Good Luck Bar near the battlefield, right? Yang Dashan asked. Yes, we are here. Sister is fine. She didn't suffer any harm. Yang Ming said faintly. That's good. Yang Dashan said with relief. After hanging up the phone, Yongli suddenly whispered, Is it my dad? And he will come to pick us up soon. Rest for a while. Yang Ming's tone to Yongli was still not very enthusiastic. He asked you to come and save me? Yongli didn't care about Yang Ming's tone and continued to ask. Yes, but it was Li Mingri, that guy, who asked me to come. Yang Ming snorted. Because of your trivial matter, I was sent here. If I knew earlier, I wouldn't have bothered with you yesterday. Yang Ming, thank you. Yongli bit her lip and looked up at Yang Ming. She said it word by word. You're welcome. Yang Ming was stunned. What did you say? Thank me? Thank you. Yongli sighed and said slowly, the past. I'm sorry, are you sick? Yongli. Are you scared, silly? Yang Ming was not used to Yongli being like this. He stared at Yongli with his eyes wide open. Chapter 436. What are you doing? You're the one who's sick. Yongli was yelled at by Yang Ming and immediately showed her true self. I sincerely apologize to you. It's fine if you don't accept it. Why are you scolding me? Well, I don't need you to apologize to me. If you don't cause trouble in the future, I can be more relaxed. This is great. Your dad also knows that I'm very badass. Don't look for me every time you have an accident. Yang Ming waved his hand and said indifferently. Yongli licked her lips and didn't say anything, but in her heart her view of Yang Ming had some changes. It turned out that she always thought that Yang Ming, a poor relative, would take advantage of her family, so she would mock Yang Ming. But now it seemed that Yang Ming didn't seem to have any intention of taking advantage of her family. Moreover, in this situation Yang Ming could stand up and save her. Yongli was still very touched. If it were her, she definitely couldn't do it. Therefore Yang Li's mood at the moment was very complicated. It was difficult for her to say some words of gratitude, but Yang Ming didn't care. Yang Li was a little sad. Since Yang Ming didn't speak, Yang Li couldn't say anything more. However, Yang Li also secretly decided that she wouldn't roll her eyes at Yang Ming anymore. 20 minutes later, Yang Ming received a call from Yang Dashan. Yang Ming looked up outside. Yang Dashan's car had arrived at the door of the Good Luck Bar. However, he still picked up the phone symbolically. "Uncle, have you arrived?" "I'm here. I'm at the door. You and Lily can come out," Yang Dashan said. "Okay, we'll go out now." "Are you talking to Yang Li?" asked Yang Ming. "I won't talk about it. We'll meet soon," replied Yang Dashan. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming said to Yang Li, "Let's go. Your dad is waiting for us at the door." Yang Li nodded and obediently followed behind Yang Ming. Yang Ming also felt the change in Yang Li, but he was very happy in his heart. If Yang Li could become more sensible and not so arrogant after this incident, it would be a good thing. They went upstairs together and saw Uncle Yang Dashan anxiously waiting for them. Seeing Yang Ming and Yang Li come out, Yang Dashan quickly greeted them. "Yang Ming, Li, are you all right?" "Dad." Yang Li couldn't help the fear and depression in her heart at this moment. She threw herself into Yang Dashan's arms and cried. "Right, be good, Lily. It's all right now." Yang Dashan looked at his daughter kindly and comforted her. "It's all over now. You have to thank Yang Ming. If it weren't for him, I really wouldn't know what to do." Yang Li said in her heart. "I thanked him, but Yang Ming didn't appreciate it at all." Thinking of this, Yang Li couldn't help but feel wronged. She cried even more sadly. "All right, don't cry." Yang Ming was a little annoyed. He couldn't help but scold. "Don't act like you're the oldest in the world in the future. Then nothing will happen. I said that I won't be like this in the future. You didn't listen." Yang Li listened to Yang Ming's words and shouted angrily. Yang Ming smiled. Perhaps Yang Li would have some changes after this. When they returned home, it was already past 12 o'clock. The key was that they had wasted a lot of time in the Xiangshan Park. Otherwise, they would have returned long ago. Yang Ming, who was originally a little tired, wasn't sleepy after such a torment, so he simply analyzed his special ability. His special ability came entirely from a pair of high-tech glasses. In theory, the function of this special ability was limited to using the eyes to see. However, as for seeing through other people's thoughts, Yang Ming wasn't sure if this was the effect of the eyes. Because in many cases a person's inner thoughts directly sounded in Yang Ming's mind, so Yang Ming didn't know if this was counted as what he saw. It could also be said that he heard it. However, the only thing that was certain was that this ability definitely came from the pair of glasses. Before he got the glasses, Yang Ming had lived for more than 10 years and there was no similar situation. Yang Ming found a piece of white paper and began to analyze the law of the special ability. Yang Ming felt that it was very necessary for him to figure out how to use this special ability. Otherwise, it could only be used passively on certain occasions or conditions, which was almost useless. Yang Ming first recalled the time and scene of each appearance of the special ability, and then listed them one by one on the paper. The first time was when he was in his senior year of high school. He went home at noon and heard the voice of two thieves who wanted to steal his father's lottery ticket. After that, in the thief's house, he also heard their inner thoughts, so he took back their spare key. The second time was on the bus, when he encountered a thief with a knife with Chen Mingyan. Yang Ming inadvertently heard this guy's inner thoughts. The third time was in Tingchong when he heard the inner thoughts of the young lady, Li Jasmine. Yang Ming judged that the person who stole the jade wasn't her. The fourth time was when Ho Jinhan robbed Lin Jian. It was because Yang Ming heard Ho Jinhan's inner thoughts that he was willing to give Ho Jinhan a sum of money, so he subdued Ho Jinhan. The fifth time was when Yang Dashan was kidnapped. Yang Ming heard the inner thoughts of the peaked cap man and knew about Brother Xiong and the reason why they kidnapped Yang Dashan. The sixth time was today's time. Yang Ming also clearly felt Chen Lu's thoughts. He roughly looked at the appearance of these 6 special abilities. It seemed that there was no connection before and after, but it was when some things were in crisis that his special ability began to appear. But after a closer look, except for the first, fourth and fifth times which were more useful, the rest of the times were really dispensable. The situation wasn't so urgent. The appearance of this special ability didn't have any impact on the overall situation. Therefore, Yang Ming also denied the possibility of the special ability appearing automatically in times of crisis. There were more dangerous times than these. For example, when I was fighting with the two assassins, it was more dangerous than now. I didn't hear any inner thoughts. Since this isn't the case, then what is it? Yang Ming frowned. He wanted to find the common point of each incident. Yang Ming tried a variety of methods, and he also simulated many times what he did when he heard the inner thoughts of others, but there was no result. Could it be that the initiation of this special ability wasn't in my hands? But it was related to the target? The decision-making power was on the target of the special ability? This is very possible. However, what Yang Ming didn't understand was why the results of the experiment were different for the same target. For example, today's Chen Lu, Yang Ming didn't hear any of his thoughts. There was also Ho Junhan. Yang Ming also tried to explore his thoughts, but he got nothing. However, Yang Ming really saw the thoughts of these two people. Yang Ming couldn't help but hold his breath and carefully imagine. What was the difference between Ho Junhan at that time and Ho Junhan later? What about Chen Lu at that time and Chen Lu later? Right. Brainwaves. Yang Ming suddenly had a flash of inspiration in his mind. I thought of this problem when I was in the good luck bar. What if these people's brainwaves were more active at that time? Would he be able to see through their thoughts if he did that? Then why were they active at that time? Yang Ming slapped his thigh. Yes, it was fear. Yang Ming's eyes lit up as he looked at the 6 incidents on the white paper. These 6 people were very scared at that time. Perhaps only when people are scared their brainwaves will be more special and then I can receive them. Thinking of this, Yang Ming was particularly excited. Moreover, he seemed to have found the reason why he couldn't explore Chen Lu's thoughts after that. It was very simple. When I let Chen Lu cooperate with me to play the game, I kept comforting him and letting him relax. In order to let him better cooperate with me, Yang Ming took the initiative to eliminate his fear. It must be like this. After figuring out the general idea of the matter, Yang Ming really wanted to find a person to experiment with immediately. But it was so late. Obviously, there couldn't be anyone else. I can't call my parents to accompany me in the experiment, right? Moreover, then again, even if I call my parents to cooperate with me, will they be afraid of me? Isn't this nonsense? It couldn't be helped. Yang Ming had to suppress his excitement and go to sleep. Tomorrow, I will continue to find Chen Lu to experiment with. I still have to scare him a little. Yang Ming thought evilly. Poor Chen Lu, he didn't know that he was going to be used as a test subject again. At this moment he was working overnight with Yu Wu on what bicycle to buy for Yang Ming. Chapter 437. When he woke up, it was already past 10 o'clock in the morning. He had woken up early for 3 consecutive days and finally managed to sleep in. Suddenly, Yang Ming remembered that he still had 2 debts that he hadn't collected yet. Yang Ming didn't care about this small amount of money. However, sometimes this money still had to be collected. Otherwise, how could these people learn from their mistakes? Yang Ming found Wang Long's business card and called him. At this moment, Wang Long was uneasy. When he returned home, the more he thought about it, the more scared he became. He belonged to the kind of timid person. He didn't have the impulse to drink with Li Mingri. Wang Long's wife was also a person with such a character. When Wang Long returned home, he told his wife about his own matters. After listening, his wife first complained about Wang Long. How could he mess around with that bastard Li Mingri? However, after listening to Wang Long's story, she obediently found the key to the safe and took out her family's bank book. Over the years, Wang Long had also made a lot of money. In total, it added up to tens of millions. But even so, it was still very painful to take out 2 million yuan to give away. That was 1/5 of it. Moreover, these were all earned by the couple through hard work. However, Wang Long's wife also knew that if he did something wrong, how could he not pay the price? She didn't want to send Wang Long to prison because of money. Moreover, Wang Long said that the person named Yang Ming was so terrifying that she couldn't afford to provoke him. Even if Yang Ming didn't go to the police and came to the repair factory all day long, it was enough for them to suffer. Therefore, they could only spend money to avoid disasters. Moreover, when she heard that Li Mingri had to pay 10 million yuan, she was happy. He deserved to be unlucky. Now she could only use this as a self-comfort. Especially when she heard that Li Mingri didn't intend to pay, she was even happier. She could see Li Mingri's bad luck with her own eyes. If it weren't for Li Mingri, would Wang Long be so miserable? This morning Wang Long and his wife did nothing but wait for Yang Ming to call. If they didn't give the money to Yang Ming, they wouldn't feel at ease. They were afraid that Yang Ming would go back on his word and continue to find trouble with them. Some people might ask, why didn't they call the police? Wasn't this extortion? It was true that Yang Ming was blackmailing him, but it was based on the premise that Wang Long was involved in the kidnapping. If this matter was exposed, then he, Wang Long, would be the first to suffer. Moreover, Yang Ming could argue that this was a private fee. Although it was not legal, Wang Long felt that unless he was stupid, he would not do such a stupid thing. Therefore, when Yang Ming's call came in, Wang Long was very happy. He happily followed Yang Ming's instructions and transferred 2 million yuan to the account designated by Yang Ming. Only then did he breathe a sigh of relief. He decided to break off all relations with Li Mingri in the future. However, he would also secretly observe Li Mingri, observing how unlucky he was. Yang Ming didn't expect Wang Long to be so straightforward. He thought that after one night Wang Long would regret it. As for Li Mingri, Yang Ming didn't have time to pay attention to him recently. He would let him have fun for a few days. He would play with him after he had studied his special ability. As a result, this made Li Mingri experience a long period of fear. He gradually relaxed his vigilance and thought that Yang Ming was just scaring him. It was a false alarm. Even after knowing that Wang Long obediently gave Yang Ming 2 million yuan, Li Mingri scolded Wang Long as he was an idiot and his brain was pierced. After 3 days of tossing and turning outside on New Year's Day, Yang Ming planned to accompany his parents at home today. He got dressed and came to the living room. He wanted to talk to his parents and chat, but he didn't expect to see an empty living room. There was also a note on the coffee table. Big Ming, your mother and I went shopping. We didn't wake you up when we saw you sleeping. We won't be back at noon. You can solve the problem of eating by yourself. You may come back late at night, so don't wait for us for dinner. Holding this note signed by Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. No way. My idea fell through. Yang Ming was helpless. He had to go to the kitchen and look at the refrigerator. There was some leftover bread. He took it out and simply ate it. He drank a bag of milk and solved the problem of breakfast. Where should I go today? Yang Ming slapped his head. It's New Year's Day. I should visit my godfather's place. Thinking of this, Yang Ming quickly called Xiaoqing. Sister Xiaoqing, where are you? Yang Ming and Xiaoqing's familiarity didn't need to be polite, so he asked directly. I'm at my parents' place. Where did you go, kid? You didn't come back for the New Year's Day holiday? Mom was still talking about you just now. Xiaoqing reprimanded impolitely. Sister Xiaoqing, I came with my parents a few days ago. I just had time, so I called you. Yang Ming sweated. Sure enough, it seems that I have to go to Godfather's place often in the future. Otherwise, it would be a bit disappointing for Godfather and Godmother to treat me so well. You called me? Then, are you looking for me or are you coming to my parents' place? Xiaoqing was slightly displeased. I just want to ask if my godfather went out on New Year's Day. If not, I will go now. Yang Ming couldn't understand the meaning of Xiaoqing's words, so he said quickly. That's more like it. I am here preparing the meal with my parents. I will wait for you to eat together at noon. Xiaoqing smiled. In fact, she hoped that Yang Ming would come to visit her parents. In her heart, she also hoped that Yang Ming would come. However, this idea could only be buried in her heart. After all, the relationship between the two people couldn't be exposed yet. Therefore, for Xiaoqing, the first thing that Yang Ming had to do now was to visit his godfather and godmother. Okay, I will go now, Yang Ming said. There was some regret in his heart. If he knew, he wouldn't have eaten. The bread just now was dry and disgusting. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming put on his coat and went downstairs. When he went to Lu Weishan's place, Yang Ming didn't intend to bring any gifts because he knew that Lu Weishan didn't lack anything. During the holidays, the students and the businessmen gave him all kinds of gifts. If he brought anything, it would be too polite. Chu Huifeng wouldn't let him do so. In the winter in the north, especially around New Year's Day and the Spring Festival, it was difficult to get a taxi during the day. On the one hand, it was too cold in the winter. It wasn't easy to get a bus. On the other hand, people's living standards had improved. They didn't care about the cost of taking a taxi. But in any case, it was difficult to get a taxi. At this time, many drivers went to eat again. It was even more difficult to get a taxi on the road. Yang Ming waited for a long time. There were customers in the taxis that passed by. There was no empty taxi. Yang Ming was a little helpless. Although he could get there by bus, it would delay a lot of time. Xiao Qing and Godfather must be waiting for him to eat. Yang Ming was a little anxious. As he was about to call Yang Ming, he suddenly heard a crisp voice shouting, "Yang Ming." Yang Ming quickly raised his head and looked in the direction of the voice. He saw a red taxi parked not far from him. From the back window of the car, a beautiful smiling face poked out. It was actually Zhou Jiejia. Zhou Jiejia. Yang Ming was stunned. "It's you." "Yeah, are you trying to stop a taxi? Did you not manage to stop it?" asked Zhou Jiejia. "It's winter. It's not easy to stop." Yang Ming nodded. His dislike for Zhou Jiejia had disappeared, but there was still some resistance in his heart. After all, the knot in his heart for many years couldn't be untied all of a sudden. "Where are you going?" "I'm going in the direction of our school. If it's on the way, why don't you come and go together?" Zhou Jiejia asked with a smile. "Great, I'm going to school." Yang Ming quickly pulled the driver and got in the car. Now wasn't the time to pretend to be badass. He was almost frozen to death after standing for a long time. Yang Ming wouldn't suffer because of his pride. "Hey little brother, you have good luck with women?" As soon as he got in the car, Yang Ming heard a familiar voice. He looked up and it was actually Sun Kuan. "Brother Kuan." Yang Ming called out with some embarrassment. How could this be so coincidental? But it was no wonder. Every taxi driver had their own fixed map. Sun Kuan liked to wander around Yang Ming's home. It wasn't strange to often encounter him. "Yang Ming, do you know each other?" Zhou Jiejia asked curiously. "Yes." Before Yang Ming could speak, Sun Kuan spoke first. "We have known each other for a while." "Hee little sister, it seems that my trip to the airport was in vain. More than 100 yuan is gone." Zhou Jiejia was stunned and immediately understood Sun Kuan's meaning. She said with some embarrassment, "How can that be? I still have to pay for the taxi." Chapter 438. "I'm just kidding." Sun Kuan said with a smile, "Yang Ming knows me. My character is like this. If you insist on giving it to me, it's like slapping my face." Zhou Jiejia was a little overwhelmed. Logically speaking, her relationship with Yang Ming wasn't very close. So when Sun Kuan proposed not to ask for the fare, Zhou Jiejia didn't know what to do. "Forget it, Zhou Jiejia. It's fine." Yang Ming shook his head. "If you feel sorry, then treat him to a meal one day." "Okay." Zhou Jiejia's heart moved. "If I treat Sun Kuan to a meal, then Yang Ming can't not attend, right?" So she said, "If I treat Brother Sun won't not give me face, right? How is that possible? I've been wanting to have a good drink with Brother Yang for a long time now." Sun Kuan smiled and said, "I'll definitely go." And then it's settled. "Let's do it in these 2 days." "Brother Sun, when do you have time?" asked Zhou Jiejia. "Not today. I have to go to my sister's house for dinner. My brother-in-law is promoted. I have to celebrate." Sun Kuan thought about it and said, "How about tomorrow night? I have to finish work. I can't drive after drinking." "Yang Ming, are you free?" Zhou Jiejia actually had an ulterior motive. He wanted to treat Yang Ming. "Brother Sun has time. Of course I am free." Yang Ming said with a smile, "Then it's settled. Tomorrow night. As for where to eat, Brother Sun, do you have any good suggestions?" "It's too cold in winter. Otherwise we will go to the food stalls." Sun Kuan nodded and said, "Let's go eat marinated bones. I know a place that tastes good." "Okay, then let's make an appointment tomorrow." "Brother Sun, do you have my mobile phone number?" asked Yang Ming. "Oh, you can tell me." Sun Kuan said, "When I first met you, you didn't have a mobile phone, right?" "Right, I was in high school at that time." Yang Ming smiled and told Sun Kuan his mobile phone number. Then he said, "As for Zhou Jiejia, I am responsible for informing her. Let's contact each other tomorrow." "No problem. I will call you after work." Sun Kuan said, "I won't drive." After finalizing the gathering for tomorrow, Yang Ming and Zhou Jiejia also arrived at their destination. After bidding farewell to Sun Kuan, Yang Ming and Zhou Jiejia walked into Songjiang Industry University together. "Zhou Jiejia, why did you come to school during the holidays?" Yang Ming saw Zhou Jiejia walking into the school with him, and he couldn't help but feel a little strange. "I have something in the dormitory. I will go back and get it." Zhou Jiejia was originally going to her grandmother's house near Songjiang Industry University, but when she got off the car she couldn't help but walk into the campus with Yang Ming. She thought about accompanying Yang Ming for a while, then she would go to her grandmother's house. When she was asked by Yang Ming she couldn't help but be nervous. "Oh, so that's the case. Are you in a hurry?" Yang Ming asked casually. Generally speaking, if it wasn't something particularly urgent, she wouldn't rush back to school to get it. "It's quite urgent." Zhou Jiejie made up a story. Yang Ming couldn't ask more. Although it was strange, he could only give up. If it was a girl's personal belongings, Zhou Jiejie definitely couldn't tell him. As a result, Zhou Jiejie managed to avoid a calamity. Near the family building area, Yang Ming and Zhou Jiejie said goodbye. Yang Ming didn't understand where Zhou Jiejie was going. Logically, Zhou Jiejie's female dormitory should be in the opposite direction. How did she come here with me? However, Yang Ming didn't ask much. That would make him seem like an old woman. Zhou Jiejie also had the same feeling. How did I come to this place inexplicably? Didn't I say I was going to the dormitory? Yang Ming wouldn't be suspicious, right? Seeing that Yang Ming didn't ask much, Zhou Jiejie was relieved. When they came to Lu Weishan's house, Xiaoqing opened the door and said with some blame, "Why are you so late?" "Sister Xiaoqing, it's a holiday. How can it be so easy to call for a taxi? It's also lunchtime." Yang Ming said with a bitter smile, "I even shared a taxi with others." "Well, come in and eat. Take off your clothes. We're just waiting for you." Chu Huifang came out of the house and said to Yang Ming, "Godmother." Yang Ming called out, then he took off his coat and handed it to Xiaoqing next to him. "You're such a big child, yet you still bother your sister to hang your coat for you." Chu Huifang said, "However, my family's Qing looks young. She and Yang Ming don't look like siblings." "Really?" Xiaoqing was stunned and she was very happy. What she was most afraid of was others saying that she looked older than Yang Ming. Now that she heard Chu Huifang's words, she was naturally very happy. "If they don't look like siblings, what do they look like?" Yang Ming asked casually. "They look like a couple." Chu Huifang smiled. "What?" Yang Ming and Xiaoqing were shocked at the same time. They were stunned on the spot. Could it be that Chu Huifang saw some clues? "What's with the expression of both of you? Is it so exaggerated?" Chu Huifang also misunderstood. She thought that her words surprised the two children, so she explained, "I'm just joking. Look at both of you. Why can't Mom make a joke?" "No." Yang Ming reacted first. It turned out that Chu Huifang said it unintentionally. Yang Ming was relieved. "Godmother, you can make a joke." "It's okay, Mom, what are you talking about?" However, Xiaoqing was a girl. She was a little embarrassed. She pulled Chu Huifang's arm and acted like a spoiled child. Cough, cough. Chu Huifang coughed twice. "Why can't I say this? You two aren't siblings. I think both of you are a good match. It's a pity that Yang Ming already has a girlfriend. Otherwise both of you are a match made in heaven." "Old woman, what are you talking about?" Lu Weishan came over from the study. "How old are you? You're not serious at all. Why are you making fun of the children? Aren't I just saying what I think in my heart? We're not outsiders. What else is there to avoid?" Chu Huifang frowned. "Well, let's eat." Qing, Big Ming, you two don't listen to your godmother's nonsense." Lu Weishan waved and said with a smile. Yang Ming and Xiaoqing both breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. They were really afraid that Chu Huifang would be entangled in this issue and notice something else. The two people looked at each other and saw the worry in each other's eyes. They couldn't help but look at each other and smile. Everything was understood without words. During the meal, Chu Huifang nagged again. Qing, it's now 209. You've grown 1 year older. You're 31 years old this year, right? And Xiaoqing sighed. She knew what Chu Huifang was going to say, but she couldn't stop it. She could only respond softly. Women, once they're over 30, they begin to age. Shouldn't you find a boyfriend? Chu Huifang said, most of the girls at your age have children. Mom, Xiaoqing's face darkened and lowered her head. Right. Chu Huifang was shocked and quickly explained, Qing, Mom didn't mean anything else. Chu Huifang naturally knew that Xiaoqing couldn't have children, so the unintentional words just now were likely to hurt Xiaoqing's heart. However, Xiaoqing wasn't very sad. She just felt a little heartache and then she felt that it was nothing. The matter between her and Yang Ming couldn't be exposed. So what if she couldn't have children? Mom, I know. It's okay. It's all in the past. And I don't want to get married in my life. Xiaoqing shook her head and said faintly. Qing, Mom is urging you to get married for your own good. Chu Huifang said, your dad and I are old. We can't accompany you for a lifetime. If we leave, then wouldn't you be too lonely by yourself? It's okay. Isn't there Yang Ming? Xiaoqing said with a smile. Yang Ming, you won't abandon me in the future, right? How can I abandon you? Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. This Xiaoqing, she really dared to speak. She can even say this. I don't know if she has a double meaning or something. Mom, you see, Yang Ming said it. You don't have to worry. Xiaoqing said seriously. AI. How can that be the same? Yang Ming is your brother. In the future he will get married. Naturally, he won't have much time to accompany you. Chu Huifang shook her head and sighed. Hey, old woman, don't say it. Lu Weishan waved his hand and interrupted Chu Huifang's words. The children have their own fortune. Let's just look at their matters. Don't simply criticize. Chapter 439. Okay, I won't talk about it anymore. Chu Huifang was actually kind, but when she saw that everyone was not interested in this matter, she couldn't continue. However, she still hoped that Xiaoqing could find a boyfriend as soon as possible. Yang Ming, come to my study room after the meal. I have something to ask you. Lu Weishan put down the bowl in his hand and suddenly said. This scared Yang Ming quite a bit. He had just finished talking about Xiaoqing's marriage and now Lu Weishan was looking for him. Could it be that Lu Weishan saw something? Yang Ming finished the meal in fear, and then he quickly went to the study room with Lu Weishan. Godfather, why are you looking for me? Yang Ming stood there like a child who did something wrong. He was somewhat restrained. Do you have a conflict with Hua Tianxiong of Hua Jewelry? Lu Weishan asked directly. Who is Hua Tianxiong? Yang Ming couldn't think of who this person was. When I celebrated my birthday, he also came. He is also in the jewelry industry. Lu Weishan said. Oh, I remember. I don't have any conflict with him. However, Zhang Bin and that President Yun have some conflicts. Yang Ming said. Oh, really? Then it's no wonder. Lu Weishan nodded and said, I participated in an academic conference of the jewelry industry in the city a few days ago. Originally, I wouldn't go to this kind of conference, but because you are going to set up a jewelry company, I also recently paid attention to these activities. At the end of the conference, I mentioned that you want to set up a jewelry company. Most people expressed their support and would provide you with help, but only Hua Tianxiong and Yun Guangdou were very disdainful. These two people are together against a common enemy. Zhangbin's jewelry company and Yun Guangdou's jewelry company are about the same size, so the competition is more fierce. There are some conflicts between the two families. After I was in the limelight at your birthday party, Yun Guangdou's driver came to find trouble with me. Yang Ming said with a smile. Then I understand. I will try my best to mediate. However, Hua Tianxiong is a very petty person. He will probably still find trouble with you. You have to be careful. Lu Weishan instructed. I understand, Godfather. Yang Ming nodded. Oh yeah, how's the planning for your jewelry company? Lu Weishan asked. It should be able to open for business after the new year, right? When Yang Ming heard his godfather's words, he couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. This jewelry company was his. Now he threw everything to Zhang Jiefeng. Even his godfather Lu Weishan was worried about him. Yet he acted as if nothing had happened. Logically speaking, he should be busy in this company. Looking at Yang Ming's awkward expression, Lu Weishan understood the general situation. So he smiled and said, Did you hand it over to Zhang Jiefeng? I'm sorry, Godfather. There were a lot of things to do during this time, so Yang Ming said embarrassedly. It's fine. However, since you are doing business with others, although you have the advantage of your godfather's name, you can't just do nothing. Lu Weishan smiled and said, Although Zhang Jiefeng is your elder and he won't say anything, you should learn to do something yourself. This will be beneficial for your future development. I understand, Godfather. Yang Ming nodded. I will work hard in the future. Then I won't say anything else. I will inform you if I have any news. Go ahead. Lu Weishan nodded. Hey, Godfather. Then I will go out first. Yang Ming asked. You go ahead. Wait. Lu Weishan suddenly waved to Yang Ming. Is there anything else, Godfather? Godfather. Yang Ming turned around strangely and asked. Qing is quite pitiful. Take good care of her in the future. Lu Weishan said faintly. And Yang Ming was shocked. Could it be that Lu Weishan noticed something? Yang Ming felt that there was a problem when he association with the words he said during the meal. What's wrong? Lu Weishan raised his head kindly and looked at Yang Ming. Is there a problem? What problem? No problem. Yang Ming stuttered. Although Xiaoqing isn't your biological sister, she doesn't treat you any worse than a biological sister. Lu Weishan said, your godmother is right. Both of us are so old. We don't know how long we can live. In the future you will have to take care of Qing. Although she is older than you, she is still a girl. So you should take care of her. Yang Ming looked at his godfather's expression and his heart was slightly relieved. There was nothing wrong. Lu Weishan's expression was very normal. Yang Ming also felt relieved. It seems that I thought too much. Just now he was scared by godmother, so now he was a little nervous. It seems that godfather didn't mean that at all. I understand, godfather. Don't worry. Yang Ming nodded solemnly. Although this promise seemed to be for Lu Weishan, Yang Ming knew that this promise was actually from his heart. It was a promise to himself and to Xiaoqing. In the past few days Xiaoqing had been staying at Lu Weishan's place. Yang Ming couldn't do anything excessive. After coming out of Lu Weishan's study, he watched TV with Chu Huifeng and Xiaoqing for a while. Then he got up and left. Chu Huifeng told Yang Ming to come and visit often. Yang Ming agreed with a smile. After leaving his godfather's house, Yang Ming didn't go home directly. Instead he went to the place where he lived with Lan Ling. During this time Yang Ming was busy. Although Xiaoqing, Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun were accompanying him, Yang Ming never forgot Lan Ling in his heart. After all, the feelings between him and Lan Ling couldn't be replaced by anyone. In Yang Ming's heart, every woman was unique. No one could be a substitute for another. Looking at the room that was already covered in dust, Yang Ming quickly went to the bathroom, got a basin of water and then took a rag to wipe the room. Here it was full of sweet memories of himself and Lan Ling. Every inch of the room was imprinted with his and Lan Ling's footprints. The decorations on the windowsill, the small alarm clock at the bedside, weren't they the proof of his and Lan Ling's love? As he rubbed, Yang Ming couldn't help but fall into a daze. Who? Yang Ming suddenly woke up. His eyes stared straight at the direction of the window. Although Yang Ming just fell into contemplation as an assassin and Fong Tian's apprentice, Yang Ming still kept a trace of clarity in his heart. Just now Yang Ming suddenly felt that someone had passed by the window. If it were other people they might think that it was an illusion or that the eyes were tired from staring in one direction for a long time, and some visual afterimages would appear. But Yang Ming was very confident in his eyes. Since his eyes were integrated with the pair of glasses, Yang Ming's eyesight was extraordinarily good. There had never been any visual discomfort caused by sudden changes in light or visual afterimages after staring at something for a long time. Yang Ming was conceded that he absolutely couldn't have any illusions. Therefore there was only one answer. That was, something really passed by the window just now. Yang Ming didn't think that it would be a big bird or something like that. It was impossible to have any big birds flying in the sky in the northern winter. Even if there were, it would be some small sparrows. Thinking of this, Yang Ming jumped up, came to the window and looked around. Of course, this was just a conditioned reflex action. In fact, Yang Ming could use his special ability to see everything outside the window. There was nothing outside. Yang Ming frowned and shook his head. Could it really be my own illusion? I missed Lan Ling so much that I had an illusion? It shouldn't be. I didn't have a similar situation in the past. No. Yang Ming's pupil suddenly shrank. He looked at the windowsill outside the window. A white envelope was lying quietly under a stone. The envelope was pressed on top of the snow, and the snow was caused by the snow this morning. Therefore, this letter was definitely not originally there, but had just been put up there not too long ago. Yang Ming frowned deeply. How could someone put this letter on the windowsill without me noticing? Yang Ming quickly opened the window and took the envelope back. There was still some residual warmth on the envelope. Obviously it was just put here by someone. Yang Ming opened the envelope and took out the letter inside. It's fine. If you want Lan Ling to be fine, come to the stone tablet of the West Star Mountain Reservoir at midnight. There was no signature, no date, but Yang Ming knew that the other party must be referring to today. Chapter 440. Lan Ling. What the hell is going on? Did something happen to Lan Ling? Yang Ming's heart couldn't help but tighten. Who is Lan Ling? She knows voodoo and she has a super powerful grandmother. Even the old man who gave him a book the other day was also super powerful. He's a master among masters. If Lan Ling was caught, then I may not be able to beat the person who caught her. Moreover, Yang Ming also suspected that this was a scam. Who was it that deliberately set the bait after finding out about his relationship with Lan Ling? Because Yang Ming didn't believe that there was someone more powerful than this abnormal combination in the world. However, Yang Ming didn't dare to take this risk. Yes, the other party completely grasped Yang Ming's mentality. If it was related to Lan Ling, Yang Ming had to go even if he knew that it was dangerous. Yang Ming couldn't leave Lan Ling alone. Even if it was dangerous, he had to go. As long as there was a 1 in 10,000 or even 1 in 100 million chance that it was Lan Ling, then Yang Ming would take the risk. After the impulse, Yang Ming also calmed down. Lan Ling said before that it seemed that in Yaojiang her grandmother also had enemies. What if it was done by those enemies? Thinking of this, Yang Ming felt a little guilty. The strange skill of the old man before and the person who sent the letter today seemed to have the same effect. Can't be, right? Yang Ming secretly thought that he was unlucky. He thought that he was invincible after he learned some martial arts and got some of Fang Tian's true teachings. It's really a case of regretting not having enough martial arts when it's time to use it. Recalling the strange skill of the old man before, Yang Ming's scalp was numb. If the opponent is like him, then I'm just going to die today. However, Yang Ming was puzzled. Yes, if the other party is an enemy of Lan Ling's grandmother, then why would they use Lan Ling to threaten me? I don't know them at all and there is no conflict at all. It didn't make sense for them to use Lan Ling to threaten him. Moreover, the most important point was that if the other party could take down Lan Ling, it would be a piece of cake for them to kill him. Why would they waste so much effort? However, if the other party was here for him, that would be even more unreasonable. Yang Ming admitted that Wang Shifan and President Hua had some power in Songjiang, but if they were asked to go to Miaojiang to capture Lan Ling from her grandmother's guardianship, Yang Ming wouldn't believe it. They would be exhausted to death. If any of these 2 points could be explained, Yang Ming would not be as nervous as he was now. After all, if the other party was Lan Ling's enemy, then he would be courting death if he went there. He might as well use Uncle Chen's power to solve this. No matter how powerful your personal armed forces are, you can't go against the National Law Enforcement Agency, right? If it was the second type, it would be Yang Ming's personal enemy. Then Yang Ming alone could turn over 18 generations of their ancestors and torture them to death. Now Yang Ming didn't know what to do. If he looked for Uncle Chen for help, it was bound to involve Lan Ling's matter. This was a matter between him and Qin Mengyan. Yang Ming didn't want Uncle Chen to be involved. If Uncle Chen knew, he would definitely oppose Qin Mengyan's relationship with him. Therefore, Yang Ming really couldn't make up his mind for a while. After putting away the letter, Yang Ming quickly left here. After all, it was useless to sit here and think about it. He could only take one step at a time. Now that he had an appointment with Chen Lu, he still had to do the business. If he developed his special ability before he went to see the unknown enemy, maybe it would play an unexpected role at the critical moment, which was the negotiation. Thinking of this, Yang Ming quickened his pace. Chen Lu was really punctual. When Yang Ming got on the subway, his phone call came in. "Brother Yang, I'm at the entrance of the Songjiang bus factory." "Where are you?" asked Chen Lu. "I'm on the road. There's a traffic jam." "You wait for me first," said Yang Ming. "About half an hour or so." "Okay, Brother Yang, I got it," Chen Lu said, but there was some sadness in his heart. It's really easy to talk while standing. In this winter, I'm standing at the entrance of this factory. There isn't even a place to shelter from the wind. I'll be frozen in half an hour. However, Chen Lu was just thinking about it. He didn't dare to say it. Therefore, he could only shiver in the wind. After half an hour, Yang Ming saw Chen Lu, who was swaying in the wind. This guy was floating with the wind. When he saw Yang Ming coming over, he almost cried. Chen Lu pushed a brand new bicycle and appeared in front of Yang Ming. His lips couldn't speak. "Yang. Brother Yang, you finally came. And have you been waiting here for a long time?" Yang Ming looked at Chen Lu, who was shivering, and smiled. "Oh, no, it's only half an hour," said Chen Lu. But in his heart, "Oh my God, if you didn't come, I would have become a sculpture." "That's good. I just went home to the toilet and delayed some time," Yang Ming said with a smile. "If I knew, I wouldn't be in a hurry to come." "Hee hee. Qin Lu said with a smile. Brother Yang, what do you think of this bike? It's pretty good, but it's a bit too trendy. Overall, it's not bad. Yang Ming nodded. Okay, I'll accept this bike. You can go. That's fine. Brother Yang, call me again if there's anything. Qin Lu smiled bitterly. He hoped that Yang Ming wouldn't look for him again, but he still had to say some polite words. Thinking of Yu Wu's headache today, Qin Lu had a lingering fear in his heart. And oh yeah, I'm looking for you for something else. Yang Ming almost forgot about the matter of practicing his special abilities. What? Qin Lu really wanted to slap himself. He thought that his big mouth reminded Yang Ming of something again. But he didn't dare to complain. Brother Yang, what else do you want? I suddenly remembered. Yesterday I beat Yu Wu until half of his body was paralyzed. You're still alive and kicking. Isn't that a bit unfair? Yang Ming deliberately pretended to be vicious and scared Qin Lu. Qin Lu was shocked. He said inexplicably, how is it unfair? It's unfair to Yu Wu. Both of you came together. In the end he became disabled. You didn't have anything. Don't you think it's unfair? Yang Ming said with a glare. This. Qin Lu complained in his heart. What kind of logic is this? Aren't you obviously looking for trouble? However, even if Yang Ming deliberately looked for trouble, he couldn't do anything to him. Brother Yang, didn't I buy a bike? Qin Lu said with a bitter face. Then I'll beat you up and return the bike to you, asked Yang Ming. This isn't the same thing. Qin Lu was about to cry. This Yang Ming is too unreasonable. Don't talk nonsense. Are you ready? Yang Ming waved his hand impatiently and asked. Ready for what? Qin Lu was stunned. Ready to be beaten up, said Yang Ming. Oh my god. Qin Lu almost sat on the ground. What's going on? You changed your mind just like that? In this ice and snow, if I'm beaten up by Yang Ming again, I don't want to die here. Brother Yang, if you want to fight, let's find a time to go to a warmer place. I'm going to freeze to death today. Qin Lu said helplessly, my body is also frozen stiff. You won't feel good when you fight. It's okay. I don't care. I'm going to start. Yang Ming said and began to rub his hands. Looking at Yang Ming's appearance, Qin Lu complained, but there was no way. He could only close his eyes and clench his teeth to be beaten up. For a long time, Qin Lu's heart was about to fall out of fear. Yang Ming's hand didn't greet him. Qin Lu couldn't help but open his eyes in surprise, but he saw Yang Ming frowning and thinking about something. Brother Yang, aren't you going to fight? Qin Lu asked carefully. Were you scared just now? Yang Ming didn't answer him but asked directly. I was scared. I was scared to death. Qin Lu sighed. Then what were you thinking in your heart? Asked Yang Ming. I was praying for you to hit me gently. Don't kill me. Qin Lu replied. You really thought so? Asked Yang Ming seriously. That's right. Then what else can I think? Qin Lu was somewhat inexplicable. Hey, there's nothing for you to do. You can go. Yang Ming waved his hand and sent Qin Lu away. Hey, I'm leaving. Brother Yang, goodbye. Qin Lu was like he was granted amnesty. He quickly disappeared from Yang Ming's vision. Of course, this vision was for ordinary people. If it was for Yang Ming, no matter how far he ran, Yang Ming could still see him. However, Yang Ming really didn't have time to care about him now. His special ability didn't work. Was my deduction yesterday wrong? Chapter 441. Yang Ming was a little discouraged. Yesterday he thought that he had discovered some of the essentials of the special ability, but he failed again today. Was my starting point wrong? Just now Yang Ming also saw that Qin Lu was very nervous. This couldn't be faked. Therefore it seemed that his original assumption of the other party being nervous and fearful was wrong. Speaking of fear, Yang Ming suddenly thought of Song Hang. Yes, Song Hang's fear of him was far greater than Qin Lu, but he still couldn't see his inner thoughts. Yang Ming shook his head. It seemed that he was too anxious. It wasn't the case at all. Today there was no need to experiment. With Song Hang as a living example, the experiment just now was simply superfluous. If Song Hang was a special case, then what about Gu Jianchao? There was also Zhang Yuliang and others. Yang Ming couldn't see their thoughts. He had to say that he thought too simply yesterday. When he returned home, Yang Dehai and the others had already returned. When they saw Yang Ming enter the house, they immediately asked, Big Ming, what do you think of the clothes your mother is wearing? Yang Ming looked up. It turned out that his mother had bought a set of rabbit fur clothes. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Mom, you already have mink fur. Why did you buy rabbit fur? Mink fur is not wrong, but I have to wear it out, right? Mother Yang smiled bitterly. My current identity is a laid-off female worker. You want me to wear mink fur? Wouldn't people think that I did something bad? Where did the mink fur come from? Yang Ming was a little speechless. Who would think so much? Besides, you can say that I bought it for you. Don't show off your wealth, okay? Mother Yang said carefully, nowadays it's hard to know what's in a person's heart. What if you are targeted by bad people? So it's better to be low-key. Look at my rabbit fur. It's not colder than mink fur. It's just as warm. And it's so furry. It looks so good. It's only 400 yuan. Hey, you can do whatever you want. Yang Ming knew that his parents' thoughts weren't so easy to change. He didn't force them. As long as they were happy, it was fine. For example, today's bicycle, Yang Ming actually asked for it for his father. Yang Dashan liked to ride the bicycle to work every day. This habit had been around for more than 10 years. Even if you asked him to change, would he be able to? Now Yang Dashan was riding a second-year bike that had been eliminated by others. However, the chain wasn't very good and would always fall off. Yang Ming wanted to buy another car for his father several times, but Yang Dashan refused. Since this car was free, Yang Ming wasn't afraid that his father wouldn't want it. Dad, my friend gave me a bicycle. It's in the corridor. I'm in college now and I don't need it. You can ride it to work. Yang Ming said. A friend gave it to you? You didn't buy it yourself, right? Yang Dashan suspiciously opened the security door of his house. Now if I bought it for you, would I buy such a fancy one? This is obviously a sports car for young people. Yang Ming said, if you don't think it's good, I'll find a way to sell it to the junkyard at a cheaper price. Don't sell it. Yang Dahai quickly stopped him. That can't be sold. How much can you sell it to the junkyard for? Just treat it as scrap iron. Yang Ming said seriously, but he was very happy in his heart. Isn't that a problem? Let me ride it. Yang Dashan said firmly. Yang Ming snickered twice in his heart. Then he returned to the house with his father. Mom was still there sorting out today's spoils. Although they weren't very expensive things, it could be seen that Mom was very happy. Yang Ming sighed. He decided not to force his parents to adapt to the life of a rich person. As long as they were happy, it was more important than anything else. Dad, we have enough money to spend at home. If not, I have a lot here. Yang Ming asked. It's enough. You don't have to worry about us. You don't need to spend money at home now. Your mom and I have more than enough to spend on my salary. Besides, we still have savings. Yang Dashan laughed. Yang Ming nodded and didn't say anything more. After dinner, Yang Ming had been a little restless. Time passed very slowly. There were still 4 hours before 12 o'clock. Yang Ming didn't know how to get through it. Yang Ming took out his mobile phone and dialed Lon Ling's number. Although he knew that Lon Ling should be off at this time, Yang Ming still didn't give up. On the phone, there was a waiting tone after the call was connected. It was connected. It was actually connected. Lon Ling turned on her phone. Yang Ming held back the excitement in his heart and quietly waited for the call to be connected. Sorry, the subscriber you have dialed is temporarily unable to answer your call. Please dial again later. The phone was ruthlessly cut off by the person on the other end, and there was a busy tone from the receiver. A very bad idea came to Yang Ming's mind. The call was connected. How could Lon Ling not answer his call? Yang Ming quickly pressed the replay button again. Beep, beep. Fortunately, the phone was not turned off. Yang Ming prayed that the phone would be picked up quickly. Hello. There was a strange and hoarse voice on the other end of the phone. What's the matter? Yang Ming was stunned. Isn't this Lon Ling's phone? The other party was silent for a while before asking, Lon Ling? Who are you? Who are you? Yang Ming asked, why are you holding her phone? You're Yang Ming? The other party didn't answer Yang Ming's question, but the sudden question shocked Yang Ming. I am Yang Ming. Who are you? Yang Ming felt that something was wrong. Could it be that the person on the other end is the person who kidnapped Lon Ling? 12 o'clock. Don't forget. You will know when you come. After the other party sneered, he hung up the phone. Sure enough, someone really kidnapped Lon Ling. Yang Ming had to believe the fact that Lon Ling was kidnapped this time, but he still couldn't understand why the other party was looking for him. Listening to the other party's tone, It was obvious that they weren't familiar with his voice. In other words, this person wasn't someone he was familiar with. In this case, there was no reason to use Lan Ling to threaten him. Unless it was a psychopath or the other party wanted to capture him and use him to threaten Lan Ling. Thinking of this, Yang Ming suddenly felt that this possibility was higher. Yang Ming had to dial the number again to find out the other party's actual situation. Fortunately, the other party didn't turn off the phone. The call was still connected. Why are you so annoying? Are you done yet? What's the matter? When the other party picked up the phone, he said impatiently, I want to hear Lan Ling's voice. Yang Ming said straightforwardly, you will hear it when you come over tonight. The other party said coldly, is there anything else? I didn't hear Lan Ling's voice. How do you want me to believe that Lan Ling is in your hands? Yang Ming asked. You don't have to believe it. Then don't come. The other party said indifferently, Lan Ling isn't in your hands. You are lying to me, right? You want to capture me and use me to threaten Lan Ling? Yang Ming asked continuously. The other party was silent. Why, did I guess right? You have nothing to say? Yang Ming sneered. I have to admire your imagination. It's really rich. The other party's voice sounded helpless. First, it's easy for me to capture you. Do I need to lie to you? Second, why would I threaten Lan Ling? She's in my hands. Third, it's up to you to believe it or not. You can choose not to come. No one forced you to come. This time it was Yang Ming's turn to be speechless. What the other party said was indeed reasonable. With his skill, capturing Yang Ming didn't require so much effort. Looking at the phone that was hung up, Yang Ming shook his head. It seems that I have to go this time. However, this made things even more puzzling. Obviously, the other party wasn't interested in me. It was easy for him to capture me. Then why did he ask me to go? Finally, the time stopped at 10:30. Yang Ming set off for the West Star Mountain Reservoir. Yang Ming found that since he went to university, his parents had indulged him a lot. They never interfered when he went out at night. It was easier to get a taxi at this time. It didn't take long for Yang Ming to stop a taxi and go to the West Star Mountain Reservoir. Of course, Yang Ming didn't let the driver stop the car on the side of the reservoir. Instead, he stopped about 1 kilometer away from the reservoir. The driver was a little puzzled. This place is in the middle of nowhere. What is Yang Ming doing here? But since the fare was the same, he was too lazy to ask so much. After Yang Ming got off, the taxi driver left. Chapter 442. At this moment, Yang Ming didn't rush to the side of the reservoir. Instead, he quietly watched the movement over there. Anyway, there were still more than 40 minutes. Yang Ming could reach 1 kilometer by walking. The environment near the reservoir was very simple. In addition to the endless pool, there were woods not far from the shore. There were no special buildings. Occasionally, there were a few small shops selling tourist supplies, but they were closed. Such an environment was very conducive for Yang Ming to explore. Yang Ming looked around and found nothing unusual. The stone monument on the side of the reservoir was empty. It was either that the other party hadn't come yet, or they had come long ago and were hiding somewhere. However, it didn't seem easy to escape Yang Ming's X-ray vision. Yang Ming looked in the small shops around, behind the big trees, and even above the tree branches. There was no one. Yang Ming could be sure. Time passed by minute. It was finally 11:40. Yang Ming sighed and walked in the direction of the reservoir stone monument. Thinking about what the mysterious man said just now, Yang Ming's heart was relieved. He wouldn't deal with me, so there was no need to be so careful. Yang Ming came to the stone monument and looked around. There was still no one else. Could it be that I was fooled? Yang Ming looked at the time. It was 11:58. The other party didn't appear. Yang Ming simply found a clean place on the steps of the stone monument and sat down, quietly waiting for the other party to appear. At this time, since he was idle anyway, Yang Ming casually looked at the introduction of the West Star Mountain Reservoir on the stone monument. The West Star Mountain Reservoir was built in 1986 by Yunnan businessman Lan Hai. Lan Hai? Yang Ming was suddenly shocked. If he saw this name in other places, Yang Ming might not be too surprised. Although there weren't many people with the surname Lan, there were so many people in the country. It wasn't strange to have a few people with the surname Lan. However, at this moment, Yang Ming was here for Lan Ling. Seeing another person with the surname Lan here, it was impossible for him not to feel strange. Furthermore, it was clearly written on the stone tablet that the merchants of Yunnan, not many businessmen from Yunnan, came to invest in the north, especially those with this surname. Just as Yang Ming was engrossed in watching, a large hand suddenly rested on his shoulder. What are you looking at? Who is it? Yang Ming turned his body and saw a face with a mask. On the mask was a painted face. It wasn't very scary, so Yang Ming judged that the person was just trying to hide his true face. However, this was not a problem for Yang Ming at all. Yang Ming smiled secretly and looked directly behind the mask with his special ability. It was the face of an old woman, a very unfamiliar face. Yang Ming was sure that he had never seen it before. Yang Ming couldn't say that his memory was very good, but at least he wasn't forgetful to the extent that he couldn't remember people he had seen before. Therefore, Yang Ming was very sure that the person behind the mask was a stranger. Since she was a stranger, why did she cover her face? Was she afraid that Yang Ming would recognize her in the future? It seemed that this was the only possibility left. Is it you? Although Yang Ming knew that the person in front of him had unfathomable martial arts, he wasn't afraid. Very good, you really came. The person looked at Yang Ming and said faintly, "What are you looking at?" "Nothing." "Where's Lan Ling?" asked Yang Ming. "Are you looking at what is written on this stone tablet?" The person didn't answer Yang Ming's question, but continued, "Did you see a name called Lan Hai?" "Why?" Yang Ming couldn't help but frown. Could it be that this name is really related to Lan Ling? "This person is Lan Ling's grandfather," said the person. "What? Lan Ling's grandfather?" Yang Ming opened his eyes wide. "It can't be. Is it really like this?" "All right, I've told you what you want to know." The person interrupted Yang Ming impatiently. "You're dead and Lan Ling is alive. Or Lan Ling dies, you leave. Choose one." "What did you say?" Yang Ming was confused. "Why did you say something about death?" "I don't have the patience. In a word, either you die or Lan Ling dies." The person explained, "Right, I heard that you were poisoned with a voodoo. Don't worry. Once Lan Ling dies, the voodoo will be automatically removed." "How do you know about the voodoo? And how do I know if what you said is true or not?" Yang Ming frowned and asked. "I am also from Yaojiang. Of course I know." The person said calmly, "If you want to get rid of the voodoo, this is a good opportunity. Don't miss it." "Is there something wrong with you?" Yang Ming opened his eyes wide and scolded, "If I want Lan Ling to die, why would I meet you? I wouldn't have come." "That's because you don't know about the voodoo." The person added, "Fuck off. I know you're good." Yang Ming said disdainfully, "If you let me see Lan Ling in your hands, you let her go in front of me. Swear that you won't trouble her again. I will do whatever you want me to do." Yang Ming's heart was now extremely strange. Is this person crazy? Why did he come to me and say so many inexplicable things? However, Yang Ming was very sure about this person's skill. So Yang Ming planned that if Lan Ling was really in his hands, he would let Lan Ling out of danger first. Then he would deal with her. At most he would fight to the death. So Yang Ming quickly made a decision. He couldn't let Lan Ling die. Yang Ming didn't hesitate at all. So Yang Ming said it very quickly. "Really? You said it so straightforwardly. Are you lying to me?" Yang Ming's straightforwardness made the other party somewhat suspicious. "But do I have to lie to you?" Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. "You said it yourself. It's easy for you to catch me. What's the benefit of lying to you? But you have to let me see Lan Ling first, right?" "That's true. But there's no way to see Lan Ling. If you die first, I will definitely let Lan Ling go." The person said unreasonably. "Do you think I'm an idiot?" Yang Ming snorted and said, "You want me to die first because you can't see her? I'm not mentally ill." "Then what do you want?" The person seemed to nod slightly and continued to ask. "Nothing. You let me see that Lan Ling is fine first, then let her go." Yang Ming said, "You swear that you won't find trouble with Lan Ling in the future. Otherwise your daughter will call me XX. No, your daughter is definitely not young. Then your granddaughter. You swear that if you violate the test, your granddaughter will be XX by me. I won't let her go even if I become a ghost." The person heard Yang Ming's words and suddenly coughed. He coughed until tears came out. "I'm dying of laughter." "Yang Ming, you really can say anything." "What do you mean?" Yang Ming was a little confused. "I say, don't tell me you have asthma? I can't be so lucky. We haven't fought yet and you died of asthma first. Don't worry, I won't send you to the hospital. You can cough as much as you want. Cough, cough. You little bastard, you really piss me off. The person continued to cough out of breath. Right, wait. Before you die of asthma, can you tell me where Lan Ling is? Yang Ming asked suddenly. Cough, cough. The person continued to cough and ignored Yang Ming's question. Yang Ming had no choice but to continue to sit next to the stone tablet. He was depressed as he waited for the person to stop coughing and talk to him again. Is it necessary? I just said that I was going to XX her granddaughter. Why are you so happy? Are you crazy? Is it so funny? Your granddaughter is going to be XX by me and you're still so happy? Yang Ming directly categorized her as an abnormal human. She still can't stop laughing? When Yang Ming looked at the phone, the old woman had been coughing for almost 10 minutes and she still continued to laugh. After a long time, the person stopped laughing and stopped coughing. I haven't laughed so happily in a long time. Is it very funny? Yang Ming said helplessly with a bitter face. If other people said it, it wouldn't be funny. But when it comes from you, it's very funny. The person held back her laughter and said word by word. What? Yang Ming scratched his head and asked strangely. So you think that what you said just now was like you took advantage of me? The person laughed and asked. Isn't that so? Don't tell me you don't have a granddaughter. Yang Ming asked. I have a granddaughter, but I don't think you took advantage of me. The person said word by word. Chapter 443. What? Yang Ming felt that his IQ didn't seem to be enough. Otherwise, the old woman in front of him was a psychopath. Otherwise, a normal person wouldn't be able to say such shocking words. What? The other party asked. I said, what did you say? Yang Ming felt that his mind was a little numb. Nothing. I have a granddaughter. The other party said. If you have a granddaughter, then so be it. I'm too lazy to waste time with you. Just tell me what you did to Lan Ling. I want to see her. Yang Ming was really helpless. It seemed that this person in front of him was really a little crazy. Lan Ling is my granddaughter. What can I do to her? The other party seemed to be very normal. She is in Yaojiang practicing well. You can't see her for the time being. Yang Ming was completely dumbfounded this time. After listening to the other party's words, he was suddenly petrified. He looked at the person in front of him in a daze. After a while he said, what did you say? Lan Ling is your granddaughter? That's right. Are you surprised? The other party slowly took off the mask on her face. She played with it in her hand and it disappeared. Even Yang Ming's eyes couldn't see where the mask went. It was like it disappeared into thin air. Yang Ming suddenly took 2 steps back and stared coldly at the old woman in front of him. What evidence do you have to prove that you are Lan Ling's granddaughter? In other words, to prove that you are Lan Ling's grandmother? What do you want me to believe you? Why would I lie to you? The old woman was also stunned. What? You don't believe me? How can I believe you? How do I know if this is your trick? Yang Ming asked coldly. Look at this yourself. The old woman took out an envelope from nowhere and threw it to Yang Ming. Yang Ming reached out and took it. He quickly opened the envelope. It was Lan Ling's handwriting. Yang Ming was excited. For Lan Ling's handwriting, Yang Ming could still see it. Yang Ming, grandma is going to Songjiang to do something. Originally I wanted to go, but now is an important stage of cultivation. Grandma won't let me go. I have no choice but to write you a few words to tell you how much I miss you. I miss you so much. Almost every night when I sleep I dream of you. I dream of the days we spent together. I will learn the Gu technique as soon as possible. Then I will come to your side and we will never be separated again. My grandmother is very nice and easy to get along with. Don't make her angry. Your Ling Ling. After reading Lan Ling's handwritten letter, Yang Ming raised his head and asked, Are you really Lan Ling's grandmother? Yes. The old woman nodded. Do you believe me now? I still don't believe it. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. It was written in the letter that his grandmother had a good temper and was easy to get along with. Why couldn't he see it at all? The first thing she did was to threaten me, saying that Lan Ling was in her hands. Then she would force me to die. You call this easy to get along with? Good temper? Are you angry because of what happened just now? The old woman asked with a smile. I'm not angry, but I feel a little inexplicable. Yang Ming said truthfully, so I don't believe that you are Lan Ling's grandmother. You are so smart. How can you not think of it? The old woman shook her head. Well, don't be inexplicable. I will explain it to you. I hope you are not lying to me. Yang Ming nodded. In fact, after seeing Lan Ling's letter, Yang Ming also believed that the person in front of him was Lan Ling's grandmother. However, the previous things were too weird, so he couldn't accept it for a while. Ling Ling, this child is too young. I am afraid that she will be deceived, so I want to take this opportunity to test your character. The old woman said with a smile, I want to see if you love Ling Ling and to what extent. So, I made up such a method to test you. If you didn't come at all today, then I would be very disappointed because you don't care about Ling Ling. Then I won't watch Ling Ling be sad in the future. What do you mean? If I didn't come, are you going to break us up? Asked Yang Ming. Let me finish. But you asked a good question. The old woman continued, why would I break you up? Why don't I just make it look like an accidental death? With my voodoo, the hospital can't see the cause of death. Yang Ming had goosebumps all over his body. Fortunately, my feelings for Lan Ling are real. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how I died. So, I am very happy that you can come. It proves that you still have Ling Ling in your heart. The old woman paused and then said, secondly, after you came, I wanted to see how much you are willing to sacrifice for Ling Ling even though you love Ling Ling. So, I was going to let you make a decision between you and Ling Ling. Only one of you can live. But even if you choose to let Ling Ling die, I won't hurt you. I will let you leave safely, but you will never see Ling Ling again. I will also get rid of the letter Ling Ling wrote to you. But your answer made me very satisfied, especially when you chose to let Ling Ling live without thinking. This made me very happy. Since you have done this, then I won't interfere with the matter between you and Ling Ling. However, this doesn't make me feel very relieved to hand Ling Ling over to you. Because although I hope that Ling Ling's man is a person who is affectionate and righteous, I don't want a reckless man. Fortunately, when I asked you to die immediately, you didn't agree. Instead, you insisted on seeing Ling Ling. After she is out of danger, then you will be relieved. Don't think that I didn't know what you were thinking at that time. You wanted to wait for Ling Ling to be out of danger, then fight with me to the death, right? Yang Ming broke into a sweat. It turned out that the previous matter was a test. Moreover, it was done step by step. If I am not careful, I may let Lan Ling's grandmother have a bad impression of me. I did think so before, but I didn't think so later. Yang Ming scratched his head and said embarrassedly. Then what did you think later? The old woman asked curiously. Later, I thought that you are a crazy person. Don't be angry. Your tone and expression at that time were a bit, said Yang Ming. The old woman was silent for a while. You dare to say that I am crazy? Just kidding. This time Yang Ming didn't dare to be so arrogant. He didn't want to continue to be entangled with this issue, so he changed the topic. Right, how did you know that I would go to the house that Lan Ling and I lived in before? I would go and see every day for a few days. The old woman explained, I wanted to see if you are a person who is affectionate. If you don't even go there, it means that you have forgotten Ling Ling. I won't come to you again. Yang Ming thought in his heart that he was lucky. He had almost missed his chance with Lan Ling. But I believe you. You are Lan Ling's grandmother. Hello, grandmother. Yang Ming bowed to the old woman respectfully. Even the way he addressed her changed from Yuk to Yuk. And that's more like it. Lan Ling's grandmother smiled. Come with me. I have something to tell you. After that, Lan Ling's grandmother touched the stone tablet beside Yang Ming a few times. Suddenly, the stone tablet silently turned to one side and revealed a square underground passage. Secret passage. Yang Ming looked at the situation in front of him and couldn't help but exclaim, That's right. This is Lan Ling's grandfather. However, Lan Ling followed her mother's surname. Therefore, in our clan, Lan Ling should call him grandfather. He was the one who built this secret passage, Lan Ling's grandmother explained. Then why didn't Lan Ling call you grandmother? Asked Yang Ming curiously. She called me that when she was young. She was used to it and couldn't change it. But since Lan Ling was born, she had never seen her grandfather. Lan Ling's grandmother explained. Yang Ming nodded and didn't pursue this issue. He followed behind Lan Ling's grandmother and walked down the secret passage. When Yang Ming entered the secret passage, Lan Ling's grandmother did something and the stone tablet above Yang Ming's head quickly closed. Then the light in the secret passage slowly lit up. Why isn't it a candle? Is there electricity here? Yang Ming was a bit puzzled. Aren't the secret passages in the TV lit candles? Strictly speaking, this isn't a secret passage. It's just a stronghold of our Lan family in Songjiang. It was built in 1986. How can there be no electricity? Lan Ling's grandmother said while walking, I heard that you graduated from Red Flag High School. Chapter 444. Red Flag High School? Yang Ming muttered and repeated, Grandmother, I graduated from there. What's wrong? And I remember Lan Ling told me that you graduated from Red Flag High School. Lan Ling's grandmother nodded and then pointed to 2 chairs behind a small table. Sit down and talk. I have something to ask you. Okay. Yang Ming nodded and sat on a chair respectfully. Since he knew that the person in front of him was Lan Ling's grandmother, Yang Ming's attitude had become humble. Yang Ming had to be humble. The person in front of him was his elder. I heard that the person who guarded the door of Red Flag High School was surnamed Ma. He was called Ma Xiaoyao, right? Lan Ling's grandmother hesitated and asked. Are you talking about Uncle Ma? Yang Ming nodded and asked, but grandmother, why are you asking about this person? Do you know him? That's great. Lan Ling's grandmother nodded and said, do you know when he became the gatekeeper there? I don't know about this. When I went to school he was there. Yang Ming said, when I went to Red Flag High School a few days ago, Uncle Ma was still there. It should have been many years, right? In our Miaojiang, all the voodoo masters have a special breath. In fact, it is the smell of voodoo. When old Manzwa came to Songjiang to find you last time, he accidentally found a very special thing. That is, Ma Xiaoyao's body actually had this kind of breath fluctuation. Lan Ling's grandmother said seriously, What? You mean Uncle Ma? Yang Ming opened his mouth wide in amazement. Isn't he just an ordinary old man? There's nothing special about him. Grandpa Zwa, could you be mistaken? No. Old Man Zwa is also a person of our Miaojiang. His research on voodoo is not below mine. Moreover, Ma Xiaoyao seemed to have discovered the whereabouts of Old Man Zwa. If Old Man Zwa didn't run fast, he might not be able to escape. Ma Xiaoyao is a master, an absolute master. Lan Ling's grandmother said, so Old Man Zwa is right. Ma Xiaoyao is definitely problematic. Grandmother, even if Ma Xiaoyao is a person of your Miaojiang, what's the problem? Yang Ming still didn't understand what Lan Ling's grandmother wanted to say. In the past, the murderer who harmed me and Lan Ling's grandfather was also a master. Speaking of this, Lan Ling's grandmother's face immediately showed an expression of grief and indignation. I've been severely injured. Lan Ling's grandfather is missing. There hasn't been any news of him for so many years. Obviously he's done for. Yes, I know. It's been so many years. I don't have much to miss. Lan Ling's grandmother suddenly changed the topic and said, but I will never let go of the enemy who harmed us. Even if it's not him, maybe it's inextricably linked. Lan Ling's grandmother nodded. Our Miaojiang's voodoo master can't be an old gatekeeper. His identity in itself was worthy of suspicion. Unless he has some ulterior motive. Listening to what you said, it does seem suspicious. Yang Ming nodded. Then what do you mean? Do you know him? Have you talked to him before? If you don't know him, can you get close to him? Lan Ling's grandmother asked. I know him. I talked to him a few days ago, but I'm not very familiar with him. Yang Ming said, after all, I haven't seen him for so many years. Well, that's enough. I want to ask you for a favor. I don't know if you can do it? Lan Ling's grandmother asked. What is it? Yang Ming asked. Is it, you want me to secretly observe this Uncle Ma? Yang Ming frowned as if he had thought of something. This mission is really difficult. But, yes, this is very dangerous, but you are the most suitable person because you don't know our Miaojiang's voodoo. Ma Xiaoyao won't be suspicious of you. Lan Ling's grandmother said, but this matter still needs your consent. You can rest assured that your final decision won't affect the matter between you and Lan Ling. Grandmother, you are Lan Ling's grandmother, which means you are my grandmother. We're a family, so there's no need to be so formal. The hatred between you and Grandpa is my hatred. So I am duty-bound to do this. Yang Ming said passionately. Yes, this matter was really difficult for others, but for Yang Ming it was easy and happy. Why? Because Yang Ming didn't have to take the risk to actually track and observe Uncle Ma. He could use his telescopic vision and X-ray vision to monitor Uncle Ma at home or at school. Yang Ming didn't believe that Uncle Ma was so powerful that he could discover his special ability monitoring. Therefore Yang Ming didn't have any worries at all. Yes, I really didn't misjudge you. Lan Ling's grandmother nodded and said, but you have to be careful. Don't put yourself in danger. You don't need to take any action. Just observe his whereabouts and what he does every day. Then record these. I will contact you every once in a while. You just need to tell me these things. No problem. Yang Ming patted his chest and promised, I promise to monitor him thoroughly. And this is what I want to talk to you about. Lan Ling's grandmother said, we practice every day so that we can fight our enemies to the death one day. But my current strength is not enough. I need a year before I can achieve great success, so I can't alert the enemy now. Otherwise, I'll go find him myself. Yang Ming nodded. Lan Ling's grandmother was right. She couldn't go. As she said, Ma Xiaoyao would definitely feel her breath. Then the two sides would inevitably fight. I understand. I will do what I should do. Yang Ming nodded and said, how is Lan Ling now? Ling Ling is very good. You also read her letter. This girl is very infatuated with you. Lan Ling's grandmother smiled and said, you can't let her down. I won't. It's just that you know the side effects of this voodoo. Yang Ming scratched his head embarrassedly. You won't mind if I have other women. This is between you and Ling Ling. I can't control it. Lan Ling's grandmother glared and said, however, if I know that Ling Ling has been wronged, I can't guarantee that the voodoo in your body won't increase. Ugh. Grandma, are you kidding me? Yang Ming was shocked. He was so shocked that he broke into a cold sweat. Do I look like I'm kidding? Lan Ling's grandmother said coldly. Not really. Yang Ming said carefully. That's it. You're on your own now. Lan Ling's grandmother said, Uncle Fu, come out. Yang Ming said, ugh. He was a little confused. Who is Lan Ling's grandmother talking to? What, Uncle Fu? Are there only the two of us here? Just as Yang Ming was surprised, an old black shadow came over. Miss, why are you looking for me? Yang Ming, this is Uncle Fu. If you have any news, you can contact me through Uncle Fu. We have a special contact method. Otherwise, there won't be any signal in the mountains. Lan Ling's grandmother said, come to the stone tablet in the middle of the night and gently tap a few times. Uncle Fu will know that you are here. Right, I call him Uncle Fu. What do you call him? Miss, let him call me Xiao Fu. It's just a name. Uncle Fu said in a loud voice. How can that be? Yang Ming, you can call him Grandpa Fu. Lan Ling's grandmother said. Okay, I got it, Grandma. Yang Ming nodded and then turned to Uncle Fu. Grandpa Fu, my name is Yang Ming. Oh, I know. You are Miss Xiao Xiao's boyfriend. That is Miss Xiao Xiao's son-in-law. Although Uncle Fu looked very old, his mind wasn't confused at all. However, this name made Yang Ming feel a little funny. So many words. This Uncle Fu can really live. Okay, Yang Ming, you go back first. I have something to discuss with Uncle Fu. Lan Ling's grandmother said. Hey, then I will go first. Grandpa Fu, goodbye. Yang Ming said politely. When he went up, Yang Ming didn't do anything. The stone tablet opened naturally. When Yang Ming stepped out, the stone tablet closed automatically. Yang Ming didn't understand the principle of this thing, but it seemed to be some secret mechanism of Miaojiang. It was so late and there were no cars near West Star Mountain. Yang Ming simply walked back. Today he was in a good mood. Yang Ming's pace was light. Nothing was more exciting than getting the approval of Lan Ling's grandmother. Chapter 445. However, Yang Ming didn't expect that Uncle Ma of Red Flag High School was actually a hidden master. Moreover, he had actually hidden for so many years. Just what Yang Ming knew, it had been almost 8 years. 8 years, how long is this period of time? Uncle Ma actually didn't reveal a trace of flaw. However, he didn't walk far. Yang Ming found that his decision was very wrong. Wouldn't it be dawn if he walked from here to home? Yang Ming couldn't be helped. He could only call Ho Junhan and ask him to come and pick him up. At this time, Yang Ming could only trouble Ho Junhan. Zhang Bin must have already rested. It was already 2 o'clock in the middle of the night. Ho Junhan didn't ask anything. He just said that he would come right away and hung up the phone. About 20 minutes later, Yang Ming saw Ho Junhan's broken Jetta, which was quickly coming to this side. Yang Ming quickly stood on the side of the road and waved. Ho Junhan stopped beside Yang Ming with a creak. Brother Yang, get in the car. Ho Junhan opened the door of the front passenger seat. You've worked hard, Big Ho. I still have to trouble you so late at night. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. He just made a phone call and Ho Junhan rushed over in a hurry. What's the trouble? I haven't slept yet. I'm watching TV at home. Ho Jinhan smiled. I just sent off a group of guests with Bao Sonli. How is the company? Yang Ming asked, do you need funds? Not for the time being. With the current fame we basically don't need to risk anything. Some entrepreneurs are competing to cooperate with us. Bao Sonli is now very grateful to the boss for giving him a chance to rise. He has always wanted the boss to summon him so that he can personally show his loyalty to the boss. Ho Jinhan smiled. Let's talk about this later. Now is not the time. Yang Ming said, I think your current development is very good. I am very satisfied. Don't do that kind of fighting and killing anymore. I understand what Brother Yang means and I don't like that kind of life of fighting and killing. Ho Jinhan nodded and said, I will stick to it. Now I basically have the final say in the company. Bao Sonli doesn't like management. He just enjoys the feeling of being in a superior position. But he is also working hard. He is afraid that one day you will say that he is not working hard and take him down. It's good to work harder. He also needs to learn. Yang Ming smiled and said, right, the name Ming Yang Company, was it you who came up with it? Brother Yang, are you unhappy? Ho Jinhan quickly asked. This is the result of my discussion with Bao Sonli. In the beginning I did have that intention, but then Bao Sonli said that the name Ming Yang is not bad. Ming Yang is famous all over the world and it is very famous. It's fine. Just do whatever you want. Yang Ming said indifferently, just don't exaggerate it too much. Luckily my name is Yang Ming. If I were to call you by your name it would be bad. Ho Jinhan Hansen Hao? Sweat. Sounds like the scientific name of a monkey. Ho Jinhan smiled bitterly. Sitting in the car it was naturally much faster. Yang Ming soon returned home. His parents were already asleep. Yang Ming did not disturb them and went into his room. Zhou Jejia had insomnia again. Tomorrow she would go out to eat with Yang Ming's friends. This was similar to the treatment of a girlfriend. Zhou Jejia was very excited. She was afraid that after going tomorrow she would say something inappropriate that would ruin the atmosphere. Therefore Zhou Jejia spent the whole night on Baidu and Google, searching for some things to pay attention to when eating with friends, as well as some small jokes to adjust the atmosphere. She was busy until very late before she went to bed. After going to bed she couldn't sleep. Thinking about what would happen tomorrow she smirked. Until the second half of the night, Zhou Jejia felt that she couldn't take it anymore. She had to force herself to sleep. Otherwise there would be dark circles under her eyes tomorrow. Then she wouldn't be pretty. However, how could she fall asleep just because she said so? If she had the final say, then there wouldn't be so many people in the world who had insomnia. The more Zhou Jejia wanted to sleep as soon as possible, the more she couldn't sleep. In desperation she had to start counting. I like Yang Ming for 1 day, I like Yang Ming for 2 days, I like Yang Ming for 3 days. I like Yang Ming for 9,999 days. When Yang Ming woke up, it was already afternoon. It couldn't be helped. After returning home last night, it was already 4 o'clock in the morning by the time he took a shower. Yang Ming walked out of the room sleepily and saw his parents watching TV in the living room. Dad, Mom, good morning. What good morning? It's already 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yang Dahai smiled. Where did you play yesterday? What time did you come back? After 3 o'clock. I have to go out tonight. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. You still want to go out? You're not allowed to go tonight. You came back so late and your sleep was reversed. Your biological clock is in chaos. It's not good for your body. Mother Yang objected. No, we have an appointment. Dad, I will have dinner with Sun Kun tonight. You have also seen it. When we buy computers together we take a taxi. Yang Ming said. Oh, I remember. Yang Dahai nodded and said, then you go. Don't come back too late. Mother Yang saw that Yang Dahai agreed, so she couldn't object anymore. After a few words she went to the kitchen to cook. Your dad and I woke up late. We had breakfast after 10 o'clock. I was just preparing lunch when you woke up. Right, Big Ming, your elder sister called you in the morning. I said that you were sleeping. She asked you to call her back after you wake up. Yang Dahai suddenly thought of something and pointed to the memo on the side of the phone. Yang Li. Yang Ming frowned and asked. Yang Li. That's your elder sister. Speak politely. Yang Dahai scolded Yang Ming. You have no respect for your elders. Hey Dad, I got it. Elder sister is elder sister. Yang Ming nodded. Then you should call her back quickly? Yang Dahai saw that Yang Ming was indifferent. He sat on the sofa and watched TV, so he urged him. Okay, I will call in a while. Yang Ming said indifferently. To be honest, he really didn't want to have more contact with Yang Li, so he didn't take it seriously. Call now. What do you mean in a while? You are already up. What are you going to do in a while? Yang Dahai said impatiently, I will watch you call. Alright, I'll go and make the call. Yang Ming couldn't help it. He stood up and came to the phone. He looked up the caller ID and pressed the call back button. The phone was connected after 2 rings. Uncle's voice came from the other side. Hello, who are you looking for? Oh, I am Yang Ming. Yang Ming said, I heard from my dad that elder sister just called me. I'm looking for her. Oh yes, Lily just said that you were coming. I will call her now. After Uncle finished, he shouted, Yang Li. Come and answer the phone. It's Yang Ming. After a while, Yang Li's voice came from the phone. Yang Ming? Elder sister, why did you call me? Because his dad was looking at him, Yang Ming had to be polite. You're up? Yang Li couldn't help but tease. It's already afternoon. You can really sleep. I slept late yesterday. Yang Ming smiled. Although Yang Li's tone was a bit sarcastic, Yang Ming could hear that it was the kind of joke. It wasn't the kind of sarcasm and contempt, so Yang Ming wasn't angry. Well, I want to ask you out for a meal tomorrow. Are you free? Yang Li asked. Tomorrow? Just the 2 of us? Yang Ming was somewhat inexplicable. Yang Li is asking me out for a meal? This was something that had never happened before. I also asked Sun Jia out. Are you coming? Yang Li said. Sun Jia? Yang Ming was stunned and said, Didn't Sun Jia go home? Is she back? Yo. Yang Li snorted, You know quite a lot. I say, Yang Ming, are you really interested in Sun Jia? Elder sister, why are you so talkative today? I wanted to ask her for something 2 days ago. Don't think about it. Yang Ming frowned and said, He is it? Yang Li smiled incredulously. Sun Jia is returning to Songjiang tomorrow. I will give her a welcome dinner. Well, what time tomorrow? Since Sun Jia was going, Yang Ming had no reason to refuse. It just so happened that he was looking for Sun Jia for something important. Tomorrow afternoon, I will drive to your house to pick you up. Yang Li said. Okay, then I will wait for your call. Yang Ming nodded. After hanging up the phone, Yang Dahai asked, Big Ming, why is your sister looking for you? Chapter 446. Yang Li. Big sister is looking for me for a meal. Yang Ming almost said the wrong thing again. He quickly changed his words so that his dad wouldn't be unhappy. I just heard you talking about Sun Jia? Yang Dahai said, Is it the girl who was at your uncle's house? Yeah, it's her. Dad, your memory is quite good. Yang Ming nodded and said, What memory? Don't mess around. Your relationship with her seems to be quite good? Yang Dahai continued to ask. It's still okay, right? Yang Ming looked at his father, who had a serious face. He was somewhat inexplicable. He didn't dare to speak too confidently. He could only be ambiguous. Yang Ming. Yang Dahai said earnestly, You can't let Qin Mengyan down. To be honest, it's your blessing that Qin Mengyan likes you. Think about it. What were you like in the 3 years of high school? What was Qin Mengyan like? She was the study committee member. You were just a bad student at the bottom. Qin Mengyan helped you with your homework so that you could be admitted to university. Now you can't do some dirty things behind her back. If you dare to do anything with other women, Yang Dahai will break your legs. Dad, what are you talking about? Yang Ming was a little guilty. After all, he really did have something with Sun Jia. You know what I'm talking about. I won't say more. You can do as you see fit. Yang Dahai snorted and turned his head. Dad, you can rest assured. I won't let Qin Mengyan down. Yang Ming had to say so. However, he didn't say too much because not letting Qin Mengyan down didn't mean that he wouldn't do anything with other girls. At noon, Mother Yang cooked some noodles. The family of 3 enjoyed it. Yang Ming never got tired of his mother's cooking. His mother also said that she would find time to give Qin Mengyan special training. Qin Mengyan was also very happy about it. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Yang Ming received a call from Sun Kuan. Brother, where are you? Brother Sun, I'm at home. What about you? Yang Ming asked. I just got the car. I'm going to your house in my car. I'll let my night shift take us to the restaurant first. Otherwise, it's not easy to stop a taxi at this time. Sun Kuan said. Ha, you are quite thoughtful. Yang Ming thought. Want to stop a taxi at this time? It's really difficult. You should also call your little lover and ask her to get ready. Sun Quan instructed. I'll pick you up. Let's pick her up. Little lover? Yang Ming was stunned. Brother Sun, isn't she my lover? Ha, isn't it about the same? You little brat, still pretending in front of your big brother. Today I will drink you to death. Sun Quan laughed. Hee, I guess you won't be my opponent when it comes to drinking. Yang Ming also laughed. Little lover? Yang Ming was a little dizzy. Zhou Jiejia is my own little lover? Oh my god, if I bring her to my house, it's not enough for me to be worried about. I should thank the gods if she doesn't want to ruin me. In order not to ruin the atmosphere, Yang Ming still called Zhou Jiejia. According to Yang Ming's original idea, he wasn't going to bring her. Hello? Zhou Jiejia? I'm Yang Ming. Yang Ming said straightforwardly, are you ready? Brother Sun just called me. He's coming to pick me up now. Then we'll pick you up together. I'm at home. I'm ready. Zhou Jiejia received a call from Yang Ming. She was very excited. She had been waiting for a day. Zhou Jiejia was the kind of girl who didn't like to dress up. She usually appeared in school without makeup. However, today for Yang Ming, Zhou Jiejia dressed up carefully in front of the mirror for the whole afternoon. She was looking forward to this meal in the evening. If she knew that Yang Ming didn't plan to bring her, what would she think? However, although Zhou Jiejia, one of our female protagonists, didn't get Yang Ming's love, she was too infatuated. So, sometimes she couldn't help but get the favor of the god of luck. That was how the story between her and Yang Ming began. And where is your home? Tell me the address. Yang Ming wasn't as excited as she was. He just asked calmly. My home is in Ruisi New City. Brother Sun is a driver. He should know this place. Zhou Jiejia said. Okay, I will call you when he and I are almost there. You can just go downstairs. Yang Ming said. After more than 10 minutes, Yang Ming received a call from Sun Quan again. Sun Quan had arrived at the entrance of Yang Ming's home. Yang Ming had already put on his shoes. He opened the door and went downstairs directly. Brother Sun. Yang Ming ran to Sun Quan's car. Sun Quan waved to Yang Ming from the front passenger seat. Slow down. Don't worry. Hee, I can't delay your night shift business. In the car, Yang Ming said with a smile. That's not a big deal. The night shift driver turned his head. He was also a young man in his 30s. My name is Wang Qi. Nice to meet you. I heard Brother Sun mention you. If I didn't drive, I would have gone to drink with you. Hello, Brother Wang. I'm Yang Ming. Yang Ming reached out and shook hands with Wang Qi. Go. Where are we going? Wang Qi asked as he started the car. Ruisi New Town. Do you know? Brother Wang? Asked Yang Ming. How can I not know? I drive all day long. I have covered the map of Songjiang City. Wang Qi said with a smile. It's not too far from here. We will be there in 10 minutes. Then I will call her now and ask her to come out. As Yang Ming said this, he took out his mobile phone and dialed Zhou Jiejia's number. Yang Ming, have you arrived? Zhou Jiejia picked up the phone and asked. I will go down now. We will be there in 10 minutes. You should get ready. Yang Ming said. Okay, I will get dressed. Zhou Jiejia said. Wang Qi drove the car to Ruisi New Town with ease. Zhou Jiejia was already waiting there. Get in the car. Yang Ming opened the door on his other side and shouted to Zhou Jiejia. Zhou Jiejia saw Yang Ming and nodded. She walked over quickly and got in the car. Can you introduce us? Wang Qi smiled. Brother Wang, this is Zhou Jiejia. She is my college classmate and also my junior high school classmate. Yang Ming introduced. Hello. My name is Wang Qi. I am Brother Sun's night shift. Wang Qi nodded and introduced himself. Hello, Brother Wang. Zhou Jiejia also nodded with a smile. Junior high school classmate, college classmate, hot childhood sweethearts. Wang Qi said with a smile. Both of you look very compatible. A perfect match. Brother Wang. You misunderstood. Yang Ming looked at the blushing Zhou Jiejia and thought she was shy. He quickly explained. She and I are just classmates. Well, classmate is classmate. Wang Qi shook his head. Go. Brother Sun, let's go to the Biaoji pork sauce bone sauce downstairs. Yes, it is his home. The taste is good and the price is fair. Sun Quan nodded. However, little Wang, you don't have the luck. Cough. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. One more day won't matter. Wang Qi shook his head, but everyone could see the regret in his eyes. Because Wang Qi still had to do business, after sending Yang Ming and the others to the door of Biao's bone sauce restaurant, he drove away. Needless to say, the restaurant that Sun Kun recommended was really popular. It hadn't even started yet, but more than half of the seats were already taken. Yang Ming and the others picked a clean table and sat down. Then they began to order. What do you want to eat? It's my treat today. Let's get drunk. Sun Kun took the menu from the waiter and handed it to Yang Ming. Brother Sun, didn't we agree that I would treat yesterday? How can I let you spend money? Zhou Jiajia said quickly. I was just joking yesterday. How could I really let you spend money? Yang Ming wouldn't be willing. Sun Kun smiled and said, Isn't that so, brother? That is. Yang Ming had to say, Zhou Jiajia, since Brother Sun wants to treat, then let him treat. At most we will treat him next time. Next time? Zhou Jiajia was delighted. There's a next time. Moreover, Yang Ming said us. That means that she and Yang Ming are in the same group. How could Zhou Jiajia not be excited? What's wrong with you? Yang Ming looked at Zhou Jiajia, who was grinning and was somewhat inexplicable. Why are you in a daze? Oh, nothing. Zhou Jiajia recovered and shook her head quickly. She said happily, Well, Brother Sun, next time you don't have to fight with me. Sure. Sun Kun smiled and said, This time we came to the place that I recommended. Naturally, I have to treat. Next time you guys tell me the place. That's a promise. Zhou Jiajia quickly settled it. In this way she had another opportunity to get along with Yang Ming. Moreover, when facing Sun Kun, she and Yang Ming were in the same group. Chapter 447. Let's see what you want to eat. Ladies first. Sun Kun pushed the menu to Zhou Jiajia. I haven't been here before. Brother Sun, you should order. Zhou Jiajia didn't know what was good here. Well, then I won't be polite. Sun Kun said, Give me a plate of soy sauce bones, a plate of soy sauce bones, a plate of dried tofu, a plate of braised pork skin, and a plate of home-style cold dish. Okay, Brother Sun, there are 3 of us. These dishes are enough. Yang Ming saw that Sun Kun still wanted to order, so he quickly stopped him. How could 3 people eat 5 dishes? How could they finish it all? Moreover, Zhou Jiajia was still a girl. She couldn't eat much, so the main force at the table was Yang Ming and Sun Kun. It's not enough, right? We are 2 big men. Can we eat this? Sun Kun said. If it's not enough, we'll order more. It will be cold by then. Yang Ming said. That's right. Then we'll order these first. Waiter, give us 10 bottles of beer. Sun Kun ordered. Okay, do you have drinks? Asked the waiter. Zhou Jiajia, what do you want to drink? Asked Sun Kun. Sprite, said Zhou Jiajia. Okay, please wait a moment. The waiter remembered what Yang Ming wanted and left. This restaurant looks quite popular, Yang Ming said as he looked at the guests who came in. Yeah, the food is delicious. There must be a lot of people eating. Sun Kun said with some sadness, I used to come here often. Used to? What do you mean? Then you didn't come anymore? Zhou Jiajia asked curiously. I came here with my ex-wife. Sun Kun sighed. Then we divorced. It had to be said that sometimes things were coincidental. Just when Sun Kun talked about his ex-wife, a woman walked quickly to Yang Ming's table. Sun Kun, when will you give me the money? As soon as the woman came over, she asked impolitely. Lu Ping? Sun Kun was stunned. Why are you here? If you knew I was here, you wouldn't have planned to come, right? Hurry up, when are you going to give me this year's child support? Lu Ping snorted and asked. I won't give it to you. Just leave. Sun Kun's face immediately darkened. What I gave you before, I'll just treat it as feeding a dog. What are you talking about? The court ruled that you should pay for your son's upkeep until he reaches adulthood. Are you going to deny it? Lu Ping said anxiously. He's not my son. Why should I raise him? Sun Kun sneered. You. Lu Ping was at a loss for words. However, she immediately said, How do you know? The household register states that his son's surname is Sun. DNA test. I will pay for it. Do you dare to go? Sun Kun said indifferently, Why aren't you talking? You don't dare? There's no need. Cut the crap. Hurry up and give me the child support. Otherwise I'll sue you in court. Lu Ping threatened. Do as you wish. Sun Quan said impatiently. Then you wait. Lu Ping turned around and left. The atmosphere at Yang Ming's side was also silent. Yang Ming and Zhou Jiejia stared at each other. They didn't know what was going on. What's wrong, brother Sun? Who is she? After a while Yang Ming asked. My ex-wife. Sun Quan sighed and smiled bitterly. He didn't have the momentum he had just now. What's going on? What child support does she want? Asked Yang Ming. Asking for child support for a bastard? Sun Quan sighed. She ran away with someone else. Moreover, she had an affair with that person before. The child wasn't mine at all. It was her and that man's child. Now that man had played enough and didn't want her anymore. She started to ask me for money and child support. What did she do in the beginning? Why is this person so hateful? Zhou Jiejia sighed after listening. Brother Sun, don't give her money. AI. Sun Quan shook his head. I thought so every time, but I couldn't stand her begging. I gave her money the last few times. Forget it, Zhou Jiejia. This is brother Sun's own family matter. We can't intervene. Yang Ming shook his head. However, brother Sun, I still suggest that you re-sue and verify the child's identity. Then your heart will be at ease. That makes sense. I will consider it. Sun Quan shook his head. Come, cheers. When Lu Ping and Sun Quan were quarreling, the waiter had already served the wine and dishes. However, looking at the two people's tit-for-tat, he didn't dare to speak much. He left after putting the wine and dishes down. Well, brother Sun, I will accompany you. Yang Ming sighed. It was a good dinner, but the atmosphere was ruined. Zhou Jiejia didn't care. She was already very satisfied to be able to sit next to Yang Ming. Because Sun Quan's mood was low, the atmosphere of the banquet was not very good. However, there was no lack of alcohol. They drank one cup after another. In the blink of an eye, all the bottles of beer were gone. Yang Ming had no choice but to ask the waiter for 10 more bottles. Although Zhou Jiejia wanted to persuade Yang Ming to drink less, she also knew that Yang Ming was drinking with Sun Quan, so she couldn't say anything. She just ate by the side and looked at Yang Ming silently. Just like that, 10 bottles were ordered. Not long after, the two people were surrounded by beer bottles. Until the restaurant was about to close, Sun Quan was so drunk that he couldn't speak properly. Only then did the two people end the battle. Yang Ming wasn't any better. Although his alcohol tolerance was good, he couldn't stand drinking like that. Dozens of bottles went in. Even the wine god had to lie down. He had to go to the toilet more than 10 times. As a result, Zhou Jiejia was the one who paid for the meal because Sun Quan and Yang Ming's thoughts had begun to be incoherent. They couldn't remember to pay the bill. Sister, we're going to close. You quickly take your friend and leave. After paying the bill, the restaurant owner instructed. Boss, can you send a waiter to help me? There are 2 of them. I can't move them alone. Zhou Jiejia said with some difficulty. Sun Quan. I know him. He used to come here to eat. His house is above us. I even delivered takeout to him. The boss smiled and said, you wait. I will find someone to help you. Little Jing, come over here. Boss, what's the matter? A 17 or 18-year-old young man heard the boss's words and quickly ran over. Do you know Sun Quan's family? Asked the boss. I know. I was the one who delivered the takeout. What's wrong? Asked little Jing. You help this sister send Sun Quan back. Instructed the boss. Okay, no problem. Little Jing nodded and went over to help Sun Quan up. Zhou Jiejia helped Yang Ming up. The 4 of them went out of the restaurant together. Sister, you don't have to worry about me. I will send brother Sun home. You guys go first. Said little Jing. Then I will trouble you. Zhou Jiejia thanked him. Although Yang Ming wasn't very heavy, she was a girl. It was a bit strenuous for her to support Yang Ming. It's okay. It's a piece of cake. Little Jing nodded and supported Sun Quan upstairs. Yang Ming, wake up. I will send you back. Zhou Jiejia asked Yang Ming. Yang Ming was completely confused. He didn't know north, south, east, west and couldn't hear what Zhou Jiejia said. Where is your house? I will send you back. Zhou Jiejia was a little anxious. Yang Ming still didn't respond. AI. Zhou Jiejia sighed and helped Yang Ming to a bench by the roadside. She could only let him rest first and see if he could wake up in a while. In fact, Zhou Jiejia could call Yang Ming's house to ask, but Zhou Jiejia didn't dare to. She didn't know how to tell Yang Ming's parents. It was so late. She was a girl and she came out with Yang Ming. Moreover, Yang Ming was drunk. If Zhou Jiejia's parents questioned her, Zhou Jiejia didn't know how to deal with it. She didn't want Yang Ming's parents to have any prejudice against her. If she called, would Yang Ming's parents think that she wasn't a good girl? Zhou Jiejia cared too much about Yang Ming, so she thought a lot. Sister, what are you doing here? Just as Zhou Jiejia was contemplating, a disgusted voice came. Zhou Jiejia looked up. It was two young men in their 20s. They were holding cigarettes and looking at her lecherously. Accompanying my boyfriend. Didn't you see? Zhou Jiejia also knew that these two people weren't good people, so she brought up Yang Ming next to her to let them back off. Your boyfriend? Is it this dead pig? One of the young men squinted his eyes and looked at the drunk Yang Ming. He said disdainfully. In his eyes, this person was the same as not having him. There was no threat to him at all. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.